The following is a presentation of Fox Sports.
The Sooners did not get the result they expected last week in Houston. Costly penalties and a stalled offense contributed to their stumble out of the gate. Oklahoma looks to get back on track today behind Baker Mayfield's leadership and Samaje Perine's legs. A tough early schedule looms, but before the Sooners look too far ahead, they need to focus on a young Louisiana Monroe team. Quarterback Garrett Smith is a dual threat that Oklahoma hopes to contain. Get ready, because the game is only minutes away. Oklahoma Sooners football is presented by Air Comfort Solutions. As today, number 14 Oklahoma opens up a renovated Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium as they host the Warhawks of Louisiana Monroe out of the Sun Belt Conference. Alongside Brian Baldinger, I'm Brendan Burke. We'll hear from Christian Steckel shortly. Well, if you watched last week's game, you may not have noticed that Oklahoma has maybe the best backfield in the country. They just never got the run game going.
I agree with that statement, Brendan, that this is the best backfield in the country. You wouldn't know it because both of them only carried the ball 6 times apiece, and that wasn't enough. The game got away from them. But these two backs, they complement each other very well. They both have elusive, powerful styles. They both catch the ball really well. And I think this afternoon, we may see them both in the backfield quite a bit.
And they take on a young Louisiana Monroe team with a new leader in head coach Matt Viator. Is he the right guy to get it turned around?
Yeah, you know, if you look at his track record, Matt was at McNeese State for 17 years, 10 years as the head coach, never had a losing record. Spent his whole life in the state of Louisiana. He knows that state. He knows the kids, and they won their first game last week against Southern. He knows this is a tough place to play here today, but it's all about development here today, and that's what he hopes to get done. Well,
Ohio State is looming next week for Oklahoma, but as we've seen for the first couple of weeks in college football, you can't sleep on anybody. They've got to deal with Louisiana Monroe first. As the Sooners looking to get things back on track and trying to get back to their second consecutive college football playoff. It all starts today, and today starts now. Welcome back to Norman, Oklahoma. Number 14 Oklahoma taking on Louisiana Monroe. And before we kick this thing off, let's get it down to the field. And the third member of our broadcast crew, and Christian Steckel. CT.
All right, Brendan, thanks, Coach. Not the start you guys wanted last week, but what did you learn about your team this week in their practice and preparation?
Well, hopefully more discipline. We've talked a lot, worked a lot on it, playing by the rules, taking care of the football, and better execution overall.
We had a great time talking to you yesterday about Baker Mayfield. He's a playmaker. How do you want to see his leadership improve from week 1 to week 2?
You know, just play within himself and take what the offense is giving him. That's the biggest thing. Let's not try and force it. Let's just take what's there.
Coach, we're glad to be here. Good luck.
All right, thank you.
Brendan.
Thanks, Christian. Well, we got to talk to Bob Soups yesterday. Happy birthday.
Yeah, 56th birthday to Bob. Had his hip replaced this year. He feels better, fresher. Looks great in his 18th year here, and he's got a star quarterback. And, you know, you stumble out of the blocks like they did against Houston. They got off to a good start. They just didn't finish well. Had a couple plays that really went backwards on him. But I think Bobby Stoops knows that he's got a good football team. And the only way you really get better is by playing these games. And he hopes to get better here today.
Oklahoma won the toss, and Oklahoma wants the football, so they will begin with it. As this stadium for the first time this season gets loud. They expect it louder here this year with the new enclosed south end zone after the renovations they're debuting here today. And if the pregame warm-ups and festivities are any indication, they have achieved that goal of making it even louder here inside Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. As they kick this one into the end zone and not even bothering to take it out. They'll take a knee and bring it out to the 25-yard line for the Oklahoma Sooners and for Baker Mayfield. Last year finished 4th in the Heisman Trophy voting, and you just mentioned this kid is a stud. Last week, 323 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Was perfect at halftime, and then the wheels kind of fell off in the second half when he started to press a little bit more.
Yeah, well, they got behind and he started looking for the big plays, but I mean, I really got a chance to study him this week. He is a special player. He's got maybe the fastest feet and maybe the most competitive attitude of anybody playing quarterback in the country. He's elusive, and he's a great leader. I'm looking forward to watching him here live today.
We talked about the tailbacks just a few moments ago, and both Samaje Perine and Joe Mixon are in the backfield, and the first handoff is to Joe Mixon. And a pretty nice job for Mixon getting to the outside for 4 yards. And Trey Hunter makes the stop. Tonight's players to watch are presented by Oklahoma Ford dealers, and there you take a look at the stars for OU.
Well, I think, Joe Mixon, who just carried the ball, had 181 total yards last week, and D.D. Westbrook in the slot is about as quick as anybody in this business.
Mayfield's first throw of the game is complete to Geno Lewis, and he's got himself and the Sooners a first down.
Of course, Oklahoma under Lincoln Riley like to play with this up-tempo like so many teams in the Big 12 and across the country. And when they're clicking, they can play as fast as anybody in the country.
It was a 33-23 final score last week down at NRG Stadium in Houston. And it all turned on a kick-six short field goal that was returned 109 yards. And then 2 fumbles after that for Oklahoma, and they just couldn't recover. Mayfield to throw again, and he hits Piron. And Samaje Piron will be bumped out of bounds at the 45. Pickup of 8 for Piron, and his first catch is stopped by Amoku.
Well, they have both Mixon and Piron in the backfield together, and I've been watching both of them catch the ball very well out of the backfield. And so they're both in there right now, right here next to Mayfield, and they both can do a lot here.
Mixon will make his way into Louisiana Monroe territory as the tackle made by Marcus Hubbard.
First 2 times that Mixon touched the ball last week, he went for 62 yards on a catch down the middle of the field and a 32-yard touchdown run. 2 touches, almost 100 yards. He really can stretch the field a lot of different ways.
On first down, they give it to Mixon. And nobody gets a hat on him until the 40-yard line. A guy like Mixon, he can run through you, but he didn't have to run through anybody for a pickup of 9.
You're going to see right here. I mean, look at what they're doing on the edge right now. Really, that Shaquille Warren on the outside, 240 pounds going against a 340-pound offensive tackle, surrendering about 100 pounds in that little melee.
Mayfield has a wide open man. Touchdown, Mark Andrews. He's a touchdown machine, and he's done it again. 39 yards from Mayfield to Andrews.
You mentioned touchdown machine, Brennan. That's his 10th touchdown on only his 23rd career reception. And he just runs a seam route, and really nobody was looking. That's the 3rd touchdown catch already of the season for Andrews.
Caught them both last week, 64 and 25 yards. That one was 39 as the extra point is tacked on. And the Oklahoma Sooners come out firing. They march right down the field and put it in the end zone on their first possession. Baker Mayfield finds Mark Andrews, and the Sooners find themselves in front. You're seeing why Mark Andrews picked 2016 preseason All-Big 12. His 3rd touchdown catch of the season has Oklahoma up 7-0 on Louisiana Monroe. Tonight's first half scoring drive is presented by Oklahoma Ford dealer. And there you see the 6-play, 75-yard drive that took just over 2 minutes. You see Andrews' numbers in his career down there. Mayfield was 3 for 3 for 39 yards on the drive. And Mixon, 3 carries, 19 yards already with his debut in the backfield here today.
Yeah, well, Bobby Stoops put both Mixon and Piron, 2 really great backs. We mentioned maybe the best tandem of backs that he's ever had here at OU. They put him in the backfield for all 6 plays. Really tough to concentrate on either one of them.
Marcus McCray, sophomore, is the guy awaiting a kick from Austin Seibert. This one is way back there, and he'll catch it and step out of the back of the end zone on Marcus McCray. And there you see the big leg of Austin Seibert. The quarterback for Louisiana Monroe is Garrett Smith, threw for over 2,000 yards. And you see he had 250 rushing yards last season. That was in the entire season. Yeah. Last week he had 150 all by himself.
And they needed it, because it was really his running in the 4th quarter that broke that game open. with Southern in their home opener, but he's a very competitive kid. He's their version of Baker Mayfield in Monroe. So they rely on his, he's very young, just a redshirt freshman, but they rely on him to really kind of carry this offense right now. They're minus their starting tailback, Tyler Kane, who's got some eligibility issues right now.
A second straight game without Kane, who missed all of last season, as the pass is incomplete. Low throw targeted for Xavier Brown. Smith last week 20 of 33. Threw a couple of picks and a couple of interceptions.
Let's see, he goes low for this ball. I don't know if he might have kept that up off the ground. He did bobble it. Ruled that it hit the ground. They come out throwing against Oklahoma. Oklahoma countered with the blitz on the first play. So I guess it's going to get reviewed.
Take a look at this.
Yeah, I think it's close enough to.
It's under review.
Our referee today, Brandon Cruz. But they're going to put this one in the hands of Gary Brown, our replay official. Big 12 crew here this evening. And nothing like a good review on the first throw of the game.
Now, I talked to Brandon before the game to see if he saw the end of that Oklahoma State game today.
Yep.
One that, if you haven't seen the highlights, is under high controversy right now. Cost right down the road here. The Cowboys cost them the game. Here's the throw from Garrett Smith. Can't see it on that angle. If he kept it off the ground, kind of eclipsed by the bottom of the screen. It's ruled an incompletion, so it's got to have evidence to overturn it. Can't tell from that angle.
Maybe this is the best look as he'll turn. He's got his hands underneath it.
Man.
Still has it. It touches the ground just a little bit right there.
Yeah, that might be definitive. Obviously, his bobbling, he's got to control it. These yards for the Warhawks today they need everyone they can get to stay in the game. They came here in 2013. They went home 34-0 losers, but and they opened up the season here in Norman just 3 years ago. So some of those players still on the roster.
Yeah, Trevor Knight threw 3 touchdown passes in that game for OU, and
things have changed.
threw 2 of them to Jalen Saunders. Matt Diamond, Ahmad Thomas, Jordan Wade, all still on this roster, all made their collegiate debut in this game against ULM back in 2013. And so we'll see if the first pass is complete to Xavier Brown. When we got a couple looks at it, looked like the hands were underneath it. Did he hold on to it long enough to have them change their mind? Here we go.
After reviewing the play, the receiver caught the ball. It is a catch. The ball will be placed at the 38-yard line. It's first down.
Okay. He did bobble it, but I guess the final ruling is he kept it off the grass here. Steve Owen Field.
So it's good for a 13-yard completion on the first throw from Garrett Smith. I mentioned Tyler Kane not being in the backfield as he is still waiting for resolution on whether his 6th year of eligibility will be granted. So Ben Luckett gets the start here in this game, and he gets his first carry and bounces right through the middle, drags his way across midfield and down to the Oklahoma 45. An 18-yard carry, finally stopped by Stephen Parker.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a really great read that time by Garrett Smith. And Oklahoma, they just didn't really crash that play hard enough. They're minus their 2 starting defensive end in Austin Roberts and Matt Diamond today.
On the run, the pass is bobbled but caught to the 40-yard line on first down.
You know, when you're Louisiana Monroe and you're here in this big, huge stadium with 83,000 people, it's the biggest stadium that most of these players have ever played in. You come out and get 2 plays and 2 first downs against the Sooners. I mean, you're feeling pretty good marching across that big OU insignia in the middle of the field. As an offensive lineman, you're like, we can play with these guys. It gives you a little bit of confidence early.
2nd and 4. And they give it to Luckett. And this time he runs right into that big line of OU. Capri Doucette, outside linebacker, stepped up to make the stop. Got 2 yards on the play as we take a look at the players to watch tonight. Presented by Oklahoma Ford Dealers.
Yeah, you know, you got to look at Ben Luckett, who we've already seen with a couple of runs and a first down. And then Jalen Howley, the wide receiver, is their go-to guy. And for the defense here, Caleb Tucker has got to move from linebacker to defensive end, and Trey Hunter, their safety, the only returning starter from a year ago, got his first action in college football right here in Norman 3 years ago as he played in that game.
Need a couple on third down, and it does not look like they got it. Ben Luckett stuffed by Charles Walker. And after it looked like a pretty good start to the first offensive possession for Garrett Smith, it stalls here.
Well, here's Walker right inside there. They just get penetration right now. And then Walker comes and finishes it off. They did a great job last week stuffing the rushing attack of University of Houston, held them to just 2.2 yards a carry.
They might have to stuff it again here. Matt Viator going for it on 4th and 2. And he's going to throw it. And it is broken up, and OU will take over on downs. Jordan Evans got a hand on it. And no points on the first possession for the Warhawks.
A little surprised that they dropped back to throw it. And Oklahoma was all over there along with Stephen Parker.
So Garrett Smith got him into enemy territory. But the Sooners will take it right back up 7-0 here early. Oklahoma Sooner football on Fox Sports is brought to you by Ford. The best deals are happening now only at your Oklahoma Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Oklahoma. By Bud Light. Sooners raise one to right now. And by OU Outreach. It's your degree. Go get it. OUOutreach.org. They've got a little bit of history here in Norman. Steve Owens, Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah, they do.
Saw Billy Vessels, another Heisman Trophy winner. Buddy Burris, 3-time All-American. And they might need to build a bigger press box. They keep winning all these national championships.
They're always, around the contention.
Mixon. And he picks up 8 on the first carry of this possession for Oklahoma, who marched down the field 75 yards on their first.
Warhawks are undersized. They rely on quickness, speed, and blitzing to try and stop them.
Mayfield back to throw, and he's got a wide-open man the near sideline, A.D. Miller. Hauls it in for a 10-yard pickup and a first down as he got the feet down. The coaches really like A.D. Miller.
Yeah, they do. He's the ex-receiver. He's up on the line of scrimmage, out wide, bigger body. They like that size at the ex-receiver.
Just a sophomore out of Dallas. Appeared in 6 games last year, even a start against Texas. And here's Joe Mixon. And he is down inside the 35 of Louisiana Monroe. Trey Hunter tossed him to the turf.
Yeah, just going to pull the backside guard here and lead up. They made a switch here today. Drew Samia has gone from right tackle to right guard, and Bobby Evans has gone in at right tackle, trying to get the best 5 linemen on the field.
5 carries for 40 yards now for Joe Mixon. As we've yet to see Pirine carry the football. Caught one out of the backfield. An empty backfield here for Mayfield. And he's going for it. And he overshot Mixon. He is a threat. He caught one for 60 yards last week on the second drive of the game, and this time too far.
Well, here's Mixon. He's just running a go route right now. He gets right behind the defender, Alex Johnson, and that's what they like to do. They'll put him out there in the backfield and get some matchups. And he got behind Johnson. It was just a poor throw by Mayfield.
And he comes off Samaje Pirine. No big deal. Comes on, 2-time All Big 12 first team member. And here is Samaje Pirine. They asked Pirine as he picks up 5 whether he thinks it's more fun to make a guy miss or to run somebody over, and he laughed and said, well, I'm 235 pounds. I like to run people over.
He's got legs that look pretty close to Earl Campbell-sized legs.
Mayfield towards the end zone, and he couldn't get it, but a flag comes. Looking for the fullback, Dimitri Flowers.
I think that was the linebacker, David Griffin, weak side linebacker in coverage. Again, trying to get some matchups against the linebacker there. 2 plays in a row, they've gone down the field and attacked.
Griffith last week at a team-high 11.5 tackles, but here.
Defense, number 32, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
They get Chase Day for it.
Chase Day, huh? Looked like Griffin was in coverage. Let's take a look. And that's Griffin that's covering. I think they got the number wrong. Yeah, now that's the fullback now, Dimitri Flowers, going down the field. We saw Mixon going down the field, Flowers going down the field, and we've just seen Griffin come off the field.
6'2", 240 pounds getting down the field. And Dimitri Flowers.
Flowers is so versatile. He'll be the fullback, a tight end. He can split out wide. He's a lead back. So versatile in this offense. That's really a departure.
29-yard line, 15-yard penalty, places it at the 14.
No explanation and clarification on the spot at the 14-yard line for 1st and 10. 27 career games, only 10 career catches for Flowers. Here's Pirine. Barrels his way down to the 8-yard line. Oklahoma's key player is brought to you by MidFirst Bank. And the key player for the Sooners, where's number 32?
In line to set the all-time rushing record here, about 1,000 yards away to get that.
Dimitri Flowers for the touchdown. Fifth career touchdown for Flowers.
Wow, this is simply game planning here. You know, I mean, right now the Warhawks are so concerned about Mayfield and Pirine and Mixon, and then you just put Flowers at the tight end position on the line of scrimmage. Mentioned his versatility just the play before, and Louisiana Monroe just completely ignored him.
Extra point goes right through. Austin Seibert makes it 14-0 as Dimitri Flowers into the end zone. Oklahoma up early. Baker Mayfield 5 for 6 and has already thrown a pair of touchdowns here today as Oklahoma up 14-0 on Louisiana Monroe. And with 2 touchdown passes today, he's now tied for 5th in Sooners history. Still got a long way to go to climb up that ladder, but again, he just transferred in last season, and now a game and half a quarter so far here this year.
Yeah, they're lucky to have him, really. I mean, 2-time transfer, 2-time walk-on, I should say. Walked on at Texas Tech, walked on here, earned his scholarships. He's where he wants to be, and I know Bobby Stoops coached a lot of great players here, but he thinks the world of him. His feet, about as quick and fast a feet of anybody playing that position, including Deshaun Watson in the country.
That last drive took 2:01 for Oklahoma, so now both drives under 2 minutes and 7 seconds as flags come in on the return. And we will check the flag. See what Brandon Cruz has for us.
During the return, holding, receiving team, number 5. Half the distance to the goal from the end of the run. It's first down, Louisiana Monroe.
Tonight's playbook is presented by AT&T.
Take a look here at Dimitri Flowers. He's going to be on the backside here. And he's just going to slow play this like he's blocking the linebacker to slip behind him. And that's all it took. I mean, really great play action fake. Good design by Lincoln Riley, the offensive coordinator. Perfect execution. And you mentioned he had 4 touchdown catches a year ago. They went deep to him earlier in that drive, and then they finished off the drive with him.
Luckett trying to get to the outside. And stopped shy of the 10-yard line. Matt Romar got in his way. It'll be 2nd and 7.
Matt Viatar, the new head coach, has always been the play caller at McNeese State. He gave that up to Matt Kubik. It's his job here to find some plays where they can, you know, move it here and try and carve out a first down, eat up some of the clock, try to shorten this game, maybe get out of their own end zone here.
First season for Matt Kubik and the whole staff at Louisiana Monroe. That'll get him a little space and a first down as the pass complete to R.J. Turner. His first catch of the game.
Yeah, you know, and Oklahoma's trying to improve that corner position. Parrish Cobb gets the start today. You'll see number 4 come into your screen, gives him a little bit of a cushion. Thought Houston really went after both Cobb and Dakota Austin a week ago. They gave Cobb the start today, see if they can shore up that position a little bit early in the year.
Cobb, a true freshman, getting the start. As the handoff to Shut down right away.
We haven't really seen Garrett Smith keep the ball here. I mean, last week he carried it 14 times for 155 yards, and he's a good runner. Really is. He's got enough size. You don't want him to take a whole lot of hits, but he was fearless last week, and a big part of why they had a great second half.
Louisiana Monroe's key players brought to you by Buick GMC, and there you see him, Garrett Smith. He'll take half of those rushing yards today. On 2nd and 7. He's throwing over the middle. Flag is down. Pass is complete to Marcus Green. Stopped at the 37-yard line. Mont Thomas brought him down. And if it stands, it'll be an 18-yard pickup.
Holding. Offense. Number 64. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. It's 2nd down.
There's the right tackle, Eastwood Thomas, who is now the new starting right tackle after Keaton Baggs is lost for the season.
Here's Thomas right here on the outside, working against Oklahoma's best pass rusher. I'm just going to call him Obo. It's a mouthful here to try and get in. But, yeah, Eastwood took over last week for Baggs, who got hurt early in the game against Southern and played pretty well. But anybody that has to deal with Obo, number 31 today, or any time, he's a good pass rusher. Best pass rusher on his team, and making his first start last week, he really made a name for himself.
OU took a hit at linebacker. Took a hit specifically on defense, but the linebacker spot coming into the season is the pass incomplete. Looking for Demarius Gillespie, but they lost Dominique Alexander, led the team in tackles. They lost Eric Stryker, 7.5 sacks. They lost Devontae Bond, so 3 guys coming in. And Okoronkwo, who you talked about, Tay Evans, Will Johnson, but today Capri Doucette. All these guys joining Jordan Evans, the only guy back in that linebacker spot.
Mike Stoops said he's never lost, 3 linebackers in one off season like they did a year ago, and so really a lot of big shoes to fill. Those are some really good players. Stryker, just like his name implied, was a striker.
2nd, 3rd down try. They're 0 for 1 so far today, and he's going to throw this one up and too tall. As Garrett Smith on 3rd and 17 was looking for a lot more than that and couldn't connect.
Yeah, but he had pretty good protection. He did a good job in the pocket. I mean, you can see there's nobody still around him here. Here comes Obo to your left side, who puts the hit on him. Affects that throw just a little bit. That ball should have been caught. Yeah, he had a good chance there. That's Marcus McCray, outside of Dallas from Euless, Texas. Had a good chance to bring that ball down.
So the first punt here for Louisiana Monroe. Dayton Balvans has this one bounce. Jarvis Baxter is going to pick it up, and he's immediately dragged down.
That's a good roll. That's a good tackle in the open field, and maybe not the best decision by Jarvis Baxter.
It's a 49-yard punt, a negative 1-yard return. Oklahoma on their side of the field when we come back. They've been waiting a long time to get their Sooners back on the field here in Norman, up 14-0 on Louisiana Monroe early as we check in once again with Christian Stecker.
Well, guys, Bobby Tay Evans grew up in Allen, Texas, home of a $60 million high school football stadium, but they grew up dreaming of playing someplace much bigger, and they do it today here in Norman. They're the sons of the former Oklahoma basketball player Bobby Joe Evans, and never doubted where they wanted to play. Today, Tay is a redshirt sophomore at inside linebacker. Bobby, a redshirt freshman at right tackle. They call themselves more than brothers, and today, how cool is this, guys? They became the 11th set of brothers to ever start here at OU in the first in 30 years. Brendan?
Thanks, CT. Pirine out to the 45 on the count. As the Evans brothers, you see the difference in the names on the back of their jerseys as well. There's also Jordan Evans, who is in no relation to those.
Right. He's the other starting middle linebacker, Evans. No relation whatsoever. I'm sure father is proud of former basketball player here for the Sooners.
After a 5-yard carry on first down.
That's a good hit.
Samaje Pirine runs right into Jared Dunn.
Yeah, Jared Dunn. I mentioned that, they took almost all their starting linebackers at Monroe from a year ago, moved the defensive line. So they're undersized, but they're just trying to use quickness and speed. They're going to be stunting and moving and blitzing almost every play, trying to stop Pirine and Mixon.
4 receivers in Pirine out of the backfield, but instead they fire it over the middle and complete to Dede Westbrook. Mayfield's favorite target checking in with his first catch. Now 6 completions for Mayfield to 6 different receivers.
Does that mean he's spreading the ball around here? Because here's Dede on the outside. Normally he's on the inside, just running a little dig route. But, you know, unbelievable ability to separate quickness.
Quick throw here out to the screen and right back to Westbrook. And he is dragged down by the ankle by Trey Hunter holding on.
You know, Westbrook had 8 catches a week ago against Houston. A lot of them just like that. Just trying to get the ball in his hands and let him use his acceleration. Interesting what Bobby Stoops said about him yesterday. He said that he's quicker, separates better than Sterling Shepard did. He's looking for him to be the leader that Shepard was here. A guy that really grew up in this program and now looks to be a star for the New York Giants.
Westbrook, Big 12 offensive newcomer of the year last year, as Mayfield has all the time he wants, and there he goes again downfield to Mark Andrews. Not a touchdown, but a nice long completion from Mayfield to Andrews, good for 21.
Well, it's great protection. And one thing watching Mayfield here, it's not easy for him to keep those feet just in the ground. I mean, his instinct is to be a jackrabbit and take off, but he was patient there.
Look out for Samaje Perine. Here he comes. Samaje Perine steps out of bounds at about the 6-yard line.
I guess he wasn't all that thrilled that he just trucked 3 different defenders. He's upset he didn't score on the play. One of the most powerful people in all of college football. I mean, that was, gosh, that's just not right.
It all adds up to 17. Take a listen. They go all the way down to the just outside the 5-yard line. Give him 21 on the play, and now Perine has company in the backfield with Joe Mixon. But Perine will take it. Perine stretching for it, and he's down inside the 1. Second and goal coming up. David Griffith with the touchdown saving tackle.
I think they just give it right to Perine again. Let him finish it.
Touchdown, Oklahoma. 38th on the ground in the career of Samaje Perine.
Well, if you haven't ever had the experience of trying to tackle a man with that kind of power, I mean, you can use all the adjectives you like. You know, a locomotive, a train, all those things are true. But until you actually feel that power hitting you, you can't prepare for it. And that's what it looks like for the Warhawks right now.
Bad snap. It still gets down and through. That's a nice job by the holder, Connor McGinnis, to get that off for Austin Seibert. I have not been able to prepare for Samaje Perine to tackle him.
Well, I mean, there it is. I mean, right in the hole. I mean, he's got a defender there, but you've got to make a business decision if you're a defender. You know, do I really take that man on and all of that power? And, you know, I thought that Coach Stoops, you know, I mean, he was steadfast. He was as disappointed as any fan or backer here for Oklahoma losing last week at Houston. But I kind of got the feeling that he knows with that man, with the quarterback, with Mixon, that this team is just going to get better week in, week out.
Here's what Bob Stoops had to say about Samaje Perine.
Well, it's, you know, Samaje's a joy to coach. You talk about a very humble, respectful guy that is such a dynamic, great player, one of the hardest workers on the team. So it's a joy to have him back, you know, just to see him every day, to work with him every day, and we expect him to have another fantastic year.
You know, humble is really the word. I mean, it's very difficult for him to even talk about himself. He'd rather let other people do it, people like myself maybe, teammates of his. It's just not his style to do it. And coaches always love that when your star players give the credit to everybody else.
Short kick and a chance for a return here for Marcus McCray. And Marcus McCray is still on his feet, and he's tackled down at the 33-yard line. 26 yards on the return for McCray.
Well, one thing Matt Viatar told us is we take a look at this return. It's a left return, so he's going to bounce it across the field. But what Matt said was, you know, he's been coaching his whole life at high school and in college in the state of Louisiana. He said, you can find speed in Louisiana. They got 5 Division I programs in that state. A lot of other programs also are fueled by homegrown players, but you can find that type of speed from McCray in that state.
Pass is complete. Trying to get away was Xavier Brown, dragged down just shy of midfield at the 49-yard line, a 16-yard pickup. You mentioned they can find speed in Louisiana, and that's what he's going to try and do with this defense of his. It's built on speed and pressure, and you see guys, linebackers that don't look like your typical linebacker size. You see ends that don't look like your typical ends, because it's all about the speed he wants to create on defense.
Yeah, he wants to be disruptive. It was a 2-11 team. They were awful last year and really suffering, and he's trying to turn that around with those schemes.
Nowhere to go, and a loss of 1 on the play, as Neville Gallimore was going to get a chance a little bit more today, with Matt Diamond and Austin Roberts missing this game for a violation of team rules, and he makes the tackle in the backfield. We have an injured player for the Warhawks and a flag down on the tackle from Gallimore.
Gallimore from Canada, only the second Canadian that Oklahoma's ever offered a scholarship to. St. Catherine's Academy, yeah.
Sorry, Brian, but this is the starting center, Jeff Savage, who is down right now for Louisiana Monroe.
Well, that's always something that you worry about. I mean, all injuries you worry about. Coach Viatar is out there right now, but especially at that center position, because the exchange, and they do almost everything in a shotgun. You always worry about the next guy up and the exchange and the snaps that he's going to get.
After the play was over, there are fouls by both teams. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Offense number 17, defense number 16. This is both players' first unsportsmanlike of the game. These fouls offset. The down counts. It's second down.
It's Xavier Brown for Louisiana Monroe, and Micaiah Quick for Oklahoma. Here's a look.
Oh, here you go. Well, that really should be thrown out right there by Xavier Brown. I mean, that's a clear punch right there. As Coach gives him a little bit of a speech with a little bit of a hug, but you throw a punch. First of all, if you're the receiver, that's just bad and dumb, because you break a hand and you're done for the season on anybody's helmet.
Does not look good for Jeff Savage, as he's holding his right arm to his chest, and so Bobby Reynolds will have to come in, a redshirt freshman out of Keller, Texas, to play center for the Warhawks. And the first play for him, everything goes smoothly, and a completion to R.J. Turner for 7.
That's a nice throw by Garrett Smith. You know, he's taking a snap from a redshirt freshman, Bobby Reynolds, and then he gets the ball out quickly. And, you know, I think when you watch him as they look at Jeff Savage right now on the sideline, but you look at him release the ball, it looks like, you know, Derek Jeter turning a double play. I mean, he gets rid of the ball very quickly.
3rd and 4 here in the closing minutes of the first quarter. And Garrett Smith has his man. It's dropped. R.J. Turner had it right on the number. Jordan Thomas in coverage, and 4th down coming.
Well, Jordan Thomas is a solid player, but this is a good, well-thrown ball by Garrett Smith. I mean, it's right in the hands of Turner, and he gets stripped out by Thomas, but you got to catch that ball and squeeze it immediately. I mean, all you can do is just pat Garrett Smith on the behind there and just tell him, like, that's a good throw. It's not your fault.
ULM last week in their win over Southern, 11 for 17 on 3rd down. Today they are 0 for 3. And the punt does get away. Hayden Balavance, who had a career-long 49 his first time, puts this one into the end zone, but he hung it up in a good spot. There was just nobody there to stop it from getting into the end zone, and the 45-yard punt will go for a touchback.
Baker got the early smile going, and he should. I mean, the home opener here, up 21-0, and you had to find a way to describe what Baker Mayfield would do and can do. These are the descriptions right here. I mean, he is absolutely frenetic in a good way. I mean, constant energy and movement and just excitement every time the ball's in his hand. And he's got unbelievable vision, because a guy that moves that fast, it's hard to see the whole field, and his eyes are always down the field. So that's a great component. And then he can just extend plays. I mean, Whether he's running it, whether he's extending to try to make a big play, he's got those attributes.
Mayfield connects here with A.D. Miller. And after a pickup of 11, he is now 9 of 10 on the day. And last week he started the game 11 for 11, so you get a little bit of an idea of how well Baker Mayfield throws the ball. Finished that game 24 of 33. And Mayfield connects at the sideline with D.D. Westbrook. And he is hung up just short of the first down.
Right, one thing I've noticed already today from last week, he's much more patient right now, Brendan. He's not as frenetic as he was last week. He wants to go left here. He's looking left all the way, and he comes back to the right.
Mixon takes it up the middle and does get the first down.
He's trusting his protection much better. A couple changes in that offensive line this week as Samia went from right tackle to right guard. And Bobby Evans, we mentioned, over at right tackle, trying to get better up front for Mayfield.
Mayfield has hit his last 6 completions. And he'll hand it to Piron. And Samaje Piron gets to the first down marker. And he rolled up the back of the legs of D.D. Westbrook, and he's lucky he got out unscathed.
Well, that's one thing that you always worry about, you know, with receivers out wide blocking, is if they're engaged with those defenders and you get a guy like Piron coming and you get rolled up. I mean, that's a tough thing. You got to feel it. You got to get out of the way.
Final play of the first quarter here with Joe Mixon in the backfield, and it is a Mixon carry. And he had a hole that quickly closed, but he's down to the 39, maybe the 40-yard line. An 8-yard pickup for Mixon on the final play of the first quarter. If you were uneasy about last week's game as a Sooner fan, first quarter goes according to Bob Stoops' plan. Touchdown Mark Andrews, couple more added on after that, and it is a healthy 21-0 lead for the Sooners after our first quarter of play. Number 14 puts up 21 in the first 15 on Louisiana Monroe, as the Sooners looked unstoppable there in the first quarter. We talked about the struggle running the football last week as Samaje Piron and Joe Mixon combined for just 70 yards on 13 carries. Well, today, 15 carries for 104 yards between those two guys.
Yeah, well, different opponent, different day. That first game of the season for a lot of teams in this country, it's tough. They've only had 50 days of contact the whole preseason, hadn't really tackled much. And then you see an opponent like Houston on the road. It was a tough assignment. They'll bounce back.
26 snaps for OU during the first quarter. 0 negative plays on those 26 snaps. Mayfield 10 of 11 for 120. And a little sloppy, but they get it in the hands of Jarvis Baxter. And Baxter getting away down the sideline. Baxter has it. Touchdown, Oklahoma. 40 yards for Jarvis Baxter.
Well, it's just great execution on this reverse. Here's Baxter. He's just going to double back right here. Mayfield's going to throw a little bit of a block right there to get Baxter to the corner, and then it's just speed. Just outrunning all the pursuit of ULM. And when you get their type of speed on the perimeter like that, they can be as dangerous an offense as anybody in the country.
Well, just 11 seconds in to the second quarter, the Sooners lead grows to 28-0. Yeah, there was a little speed here.
And determination, but just watching. Take a look here. Nice flip by Mixon. Good hands, and his head is up. I mean, I could have put my morning cup of coffee on his head right there. Wouldn't have spilled a drop. That's smooth.
Jarvis Baxter, a couple of catches for 27 yards. No touchdowns last week. And I'll tell you what, you mentioned the name Sterling Shepard earlier. This receiving core is tired of hearing that with Shepard gone, they're not any good.
Right. No doubt. No, they are. Because, you know, he was such a dynamic player. Everybody knew him. They loved him. He was a natural leader. You know, Bobby Stoops knew him his whole life. But, you know, guys leave. You know, I mean, guys get hurt, guys leave, guys graduate, guys get to the next level, and it's up to, you know, the next group to make a name for themselves. And you do that by, on a practice field, you know, and earning your right to play. And then when you get your chance, playing big and taking what you learn to practice field to the game. And that's all part of the process. Coach Stoops knows that as well as anybody in the country. And I think he likes this team. And I think he likes what they can become.
Returning starters on offense 7, but more than 90% of their offensive production does return.
Yeah.
Between the running backs that you both bring back, your Heisman Trophy candidate quarterback that you have, a guy like D.D. Westbrook, and you add guys too. Geno Lewis comes in from Penn State. Touchback will bring it out to the 25. And defense will go back to work for OU. They're not too shabby either.
Well, I mean, look, you bring back the 2 running backs, mix it in your picture there. And that quarterback, Orlando Brown at left tackle, they got a lot of bodies here, and they're all going to be competitive every week as they circle around Mayfield there. Kind of talking about the play, because Mixon's got that play started with the flip to Baxter. And they've got a great coordinator, Lincoln Riley, a hot name out there amongst a lot of people that know how to get the ball around.
As they throw it complete to R.J. Turner. Right at the sticks at the 35-yard line. And they'll give him 10 in the first down.
I've been impressed by Garrett Smith. I mean, on a big stage here in Norman and on this field. And, you know, I mean, he comes off a big game last Saturday night, and he's throwing the ball well.
Just a redshirt sophomore. Missed the final 3 games last year with an injury. Given a clean bill of health before spring. He has been everything for this team here in the first couple of weeks as he fought that one in there. But they say incomplete, intended for R.J. Turner.
He also turns his head to the sideline to get the play from Matt Kubik, the offensive coordinator who started Louisiana Tech, was a quarterback and came from Stephen F. Austin, along with Matt Viatar. Kind of run this offense. You see everybody kind of looking over there.
Louisiana Tech is in Ruston, just about a half hour away from Monroe. His wife is from the Monroe area.
Yeah.
And he's passionate about the school, and that's one of the reasons why Matt Viator brought him in and trusts him to call the plays, something that he had been doing at his previous stunts. Carry there for Duke Carter the 4th.
Take a look here. Monroe in the northern part of the state, 200 miles north of Lake Charles, where Matt Viatar was the last 10 years. Sun Belt Conference team, trying to be as successful as Matt was in the Southland Conference when he was at McNeese State.
3rd and 8. Smith under pressure, got it there and couldn't haul it in. Marcus Green got popped as he tried to recover that bubble.
Well, when you go up in the air across this, the middle of the field against these defensive backs, I mean, you're going to take a hit now. Jordan Evans was right there, and then here's the finish.
Manuel Beal.
Yeah, Manuel Beal, who they're excited about, a junior college transfer from Lackawanna College in Scranton, Pennsylvania. 5 solo tackles a week ago in that loss to Houston.
So they bring out Dayton Balvats. And a pretty good leg into this one. Joe Mixon over the shoulder from the 10. Makes a couple miss. Joe Mixon couldn't get away, and he's taken down to the 18-yard line. Well, you always got to be careful when Mixon has the football. A 52-yard punt and a 7-yard return. OU up 28-0. Oklahoma Sooner football on Fox Sports is brought to you by Chesapeake Energy, working for America's energy future while striving for continuous improvement in everything we do. We're Chesapeake Energy. By Air Comfort Solutions, your home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. And by Stevenson Cancer Center. Visit bandtogetheragainstcancer.com to join the fight this season. Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium, originally constructed in 1923. 122nd season of OU football here this year, as the pass hauled in by D.D. Westbrook for a first down right off the bat. as the capacity has grown over the years. Started at 32,000, and after this latest renovation, we're up to 83,489.
7th renovation here.
$160 million put in this time as Joe Mixon puts his shoulder down, but not his knee. Across midfield, Mixon to the 48 of Louisiana. Monroe, a 16-yard pickup.
Yeah, that was all on Mixon because there was nothing there. I mean, that was just a cutback in his vision and then just some really great athletic ability to go find the opening in fewer white shirts.
Mayfield has a man. Overshot it. Jeffrey Mead had a step on Joanne Offray.
Yeah. Mayfield's upset with himself because he did. Mead was the ex-receiver there. You know, 6'5", big reach, and he had a lot of field, no safety in the middle. Just had to lay that up there and let him go run underneath it. Hasn't missed many today.
Just the second incompletion for Mayfield, who had hit 7 in a row and is 11 of 13 for 138 yards and a couple of touchdowns here today. Their average yards per play, almost 10.5. For the Sooner offense, nothing there. Nice job to get in was David Griffith and take out the feet of Joe Mixon.
That's one of those blitzing linebackers we've been mentioning, and that time they got Mixon before he got started. But you know, I saw that graphic. Well, here it is. Griffin just coming right off the outside. Beat the guard that was pulling. Oklahoma averaged 11 yards of play in the first half last week.
First halves have not been a problem.
No.
Game turned last week with 8 minutes and 48 seconds to go in the third quarter, as they were supposed to take a lead on a 53-yard field goal. There's another good play in the backfield by David Griffith.
That's Griffin again.
11.5 tackles last week, 1 for a loss and a sack.
Yeah, I mean, here he is. I mean, he's just coming straight up on a blitz right now. Really, that's Alvarez just missed him, ran right by him, and they were kind of scooping the backside, meaning it's kind of a zone blocking scheme on the backside. And Griffin with 2 back-to-back plays and forcing the first punt of the afternoon for Oklahoma.
David Griffith with 6 tackles already for ULM.
Wow. What do you, 11.5 last week?
Yep. Here's Austin Seibert. We've seen him kick extra points. We've seen him kick the ball off, and now we see him punt one in the direction of Marcus Green, who makes the catch at the 18-yard line. So the ULM defense forces their first punt, and they get the ball back when we come back. Oklahoma's lead is 28 here in the early stages of the second quarter. Brennan Burke and Brian Ballinger with Christian Steckel here in Norman, Oklahoma, as Bob Stoops and his team last season. Average scoring margin of 21.5 was the best in the nation. The average scoring margin against the Sun Belt Conference over the year for OU is 50.8. We're getting there.
Jordan Evans all over that play. A little drag slide, kind of misdirection. Nobody was fooled by Oklahoma. You see Jeff Savage back in there at center. It's a good sign. Was helped off the field a couple series ago, but back in there at center.
4-yard loss on first down.
That's always tough. You know, you go backwards against this defense where they can really kind of concentrate and getting after Garrett Smith. Takes a lot of the play action fakes away from it, kind of limits some of the things that you can do.
On 2nd and 14. Good luck. Duke Carter had nowhere to run that time. Hit by a ton of players. DJ Ward getting the start at right defensive end.
Yeah, DJ Ward got a kid that had his spleen removed last year. Gets his start today. Just good job just playing off the block, replacing both Matt Diamond and Austin Roberts, who were suspended today. Or a coach's decision not to play.
So 3rd and 12. They're 0 for 4 on 3rd down. And that ball just underthrown, looking for a Jalen Holly.
You know, he had him too. I think Garrett Smith was upset with himself. I mean, he had a pocket and he had a receiver, and Oklahoma was playing a zone and had the right spot and just bounced that ball off the turf.
Ollie still held without a catch today. He's their best wide receiving option, a preseason all Sun Belt second team. 5 catches last week. None so far today. And so they'll have to punt again. Dayton Balvance is a guy who is a grad transfer from Missouri. He never played there, but he's got a leg. His last punt was 52.
That's pretty good too.
Baxter is backing up to the 31. And a stutter step for Baxter. Ran into his own man, tried to make something out of it. Winds up taking a step backwards. And a short return, covering a little bit of ground for Jarvis Baxter.
I think that's what ULM has done best today, is punt the ball and cover punts. They've had a lot of opportunities to do it.
You know, the backfield is so crowded for Oklahoma with obviously Pirine and Mixon, but they're missing guy Rodney Anderson from injury. And while you may not feel the effects of that during the run game, you certainly feel it in the return game. He was going to be a big-time player in their return game, but will miss this season again for the second straight year.
Yeah, neck injury. They were really, really high on what he brought to this team, and just a different element than Pirine and Mixon.
Mayfield. Complete. Nick Basquin. He'll take it. Nick Basquin is a walk-on that Baker Mayfield loves, and he finds him for 62 yards.
That's some team love right there, and you know, a walk-on right here from Norman, and could have gone some other places to play, but he wanted to play in the big stage with the Crimson and Cream, and gets himself his first touchdown catch of the season. Quite a story. All-state kid here in 2013 out of Norman North, and has worked his way up and through some injuries and found himself in the end zone.
First in the collegiate career for the walk-on Nick Basquin. Developed a little chemistry playing on the scout team in 2014 with Mayfield, and we see some of that here. He made the catch, he made the play, and he makes the score 35-0 here in the second quarter. Let's take a look at the Patriot Ford game summary. It started on the very first possession. Baker Mayfield to Mark Andrews for 39. Then it was Dimitri Flowers on the next possession. Add 2 more, and how about another one? Nick Basquin, his first career touchdown catch for the walk-on right here on Norman.
And this celebration here from Baker Mayfield to go find Basquin. I mean, they were on the scout team together 2 years ago, and their first time they connect. You may never see Baker Mayfield run that fast again.
Mayfield was telling the media in early August to learn Basquin's name because he might be starting before the end of the season. He was pumping his tires that much. I mean, wide receiver, Baldy, that's a tough position to walk on from. You're talking 3, 4, 4-star recruits coming here every year. Take a knee.
You know, that year, 2014, when Mayfield was sitting out, he was the scout team player of the year. Basquin is there with them. They're building a chemistry. They're trying to take down the starters and trying to stick it to different guys. And it's just one of those things. They come in together, the freshmen together. You just don't forget those days and those afternoons.
I mentioned he played at Norman North. His dad, Anthony Safford, played here at OU. And his best friend at Norman North was Casey Gundy. Now, he's the son of the OU recruiting coordinator. Also the inside wide receiver, Coach Cale Gundy here. So he said he had an in and said, you know what, I'm going to walk on at OU. I'm not going to go to New Mexico. A team that offered him to play collegiate football. He wanted to be here at OU, and now he's here in front of 83,000 fans and celebrating his first career touchdown.
Earning that scholarship, it's quite a thrill.
On the keeper, Garrett Smith is dragged down maybe a yard.
Ricky DeBerry, a guy that they're excited about getting a chance here. You know, they wanted to play him more last week, but Houston had 56 snaps in the first half last week, and they were going so fast that Mike Stoops really didn't have a chance to substitute as much as he wanted. He thought some of the guys really kind of fatigued from being on the field that much.
DeBerry is said to have had 40-plus offers coming out of high school. A little bit of misdirection here as they get the ball in the hands of Marcus Green, and he is met at the 40-yard line. Big-time collision there between Marcus Green, who picks up 15, and Ahmad Thomas.
Oh, man. Ahmad Thomas, one of their senior leaders, one of the guys that they really count on here.
Actually, I take that back. Let's check on who that is.
Is that? Yeah, it is. It isn't. Is that Dakota Austin?
I believe it is 27 Dakota Austin, who lost his starting cornerback position at the start of the game. Parrish Cobb started in his place, but he is in there, and he took a wallop from Marcus Green, who had a full head of steam coming his direction.
I think it just really caught him by surprise, the way that Green came into him. Austin was coming from the other side of the field. Oh, geez.
It is actually 87, not 27, the defensive end, DJ Ward, who's 6'2", 265 pounds. And Marcus Green at 5'8", 190. But caught him clean. You mentioned Ward earlier, who missed his freshman season after having his spleen removed. And a guy who's put on a lot of weight.
So there he is at the bottom of that collision.
You know what? Ahmad Thomas is the guy who actually threw the hit.
There's Ahmad. Yeah, there's Ahmad at the bottom.
This injury was right next door, but unrelated.
Yeah, there's. Oh yeah, his head got snapped back. DJ Ward's head snapped back on that tackle. Just hope that he's moving. His hands are moving. That's the first thing you want to look for.
Got the legs moving.
Yeah, legs are moving. He's showing everybody that that part is good.
Step aside as DJ Ward attended to here. Well, you can never be too cautious when it comes to the head and neck area, and DJ Ward was tended to, tested out on the field. They got him up on his feet. He walked on his own power and is now seated on the bench. As we take another look as he comes in at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, here he is. He's going to come in at the end of this, and he's just going to, as he falls, he feels the back of the receiver, snaps his head on the play. Right now, OU down 3 starting defensive linemen, 2 not playing with the coach's decision, and now DJ Ward.
Everybody jumped before this snap. This one will back up. Garrett Smith, 5 yards.
Ball start. Offense, number 75. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Frank Sutton Jr., the left guard. DJ Ward on the bench. You mentioned Matt Diamond, Austin Roberts not playing today. Violation of team rules, and you see the penalties there. Oklahoma, it's one of the things they wanted to clean up coming into this game, and Bob Stoops has to be happy with really everything so far, including that. Low snap. Garrett Smith fell down as he threw it, but he did get it up into the hands of Demarius Gillespie.
It's always a good sign when you see about 9 crimson helmets at the ball carrier. Everybody rotating to him.
5-yard pickup. We send it down to CT.
Guys, DJ Ward is headed into the locker room for x-rays. They were looking at his neck, obviously taking things very cautiously, but he is now headed back into the locker room with trainers for x-rays.
Thanks, CT. Neville Gallimore is in at that spot, who on the depth chart is listed as the 3rd option at that defensive end position as the tipped ball falls off Marcus Green near R.J. Turner, but onto the field.
Yeah, you know, as we watch DJ Ward go in for those x-rays, you know, one of the things Mike Stoops told us yesterday was against Houston, they didn't get their hands on one football. They didn't deflect the ball, they didn't have a chance to intercept one, and he just wanted to be more aggressive in the secondary, and I think you're seeing a lot more of that They're playing a lot more off coverage. Corners are off the wide receivers. They're looking into the backfield, trying to keep everything in front of them. And there's Neville Gallimore, DJ Ward's replacement.
He's 3rd and 10. Smith has to get rid of it. A little bit of cushion there on the far side, and nowhere near the first down is Marcus Green. And so still now on 6 tries for ULM. They have not converted a 3rd down.
It's a good open field tackle because Green really was one-on-one. If he you can make that defender miss, maybe you can get enough for that 1st down. Mike Stoops now upstairs always. You don't have to do much to get Mike to talk about the game of football.
Nope.
The good part of it, the bad part of it. He doesn't like being out on the field for 56 snaps in the first half last week.
I believe you referred to it as basketball on grass.
Basketball on grass. A lot of adjectives to describe that action.
High punt. Baxter will get out of the way, and this one will drop politely at the 3-yard line. Another good boot from Dayton Balvance.
And again, their punt team has been the best part of their football team in this first half.
That's another 50-plus yarder. That's 51 yards from Galvan. And here's Bob Stoops. As he is the longest tenured head coach in FBS by a single day.
And he told us the story yesterday that when he was at Florida with Steve Spurrier, he had opportunities to leave before he finally did. Steve Spurrier said, don't leave until you get a good job. Well, when he finally was ready to leave, he had both Iowa and Oklahoma, 2 teams he coveted the most. He got them both, and he took one, and Kirk Ferentz took the other.
Joe Mixon gets him a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but and both of them have stayed there for 18. So Kirk Ferentz, one day behind Bobby Stoops. Of course, he's a Hawkeye graduate there in 1983.
Brings up 2nd and 5.
But he always, him and his brother both, covered and playing and coaching at Oklahoma for a whole year, like growing up.
Mixon a 1st down out to the 15-yard line. Taken down by Marcus Hubbard. An 8-yard pickup for Joe Mixon, who continues to rack him up, now over 60 yards on the day.
Oklahoma with the full substitution as Lincoln Riley looks on. 4 new wide receivers just came on the field.
If it's working, you keep going to it, and Mixon is working down the sideline. Can he turn on the Jets? Can't get away. Justin Bacchus just got Mixon, otherwise he was gone for 6.
Well, when he gets in the open field, I mean, he just has a burst and a gear. It's not a big hole. They kind of corral him here. This is where he breaks that tackle. And now he's off to the races, and he just does such a nice job of just, in just a smooth fashion of just shifting gears and looking for the opening.
They had 4 more yards on that run than he had all last week against Houston. 44 on that one. Flag is down near the line of scrimmage as the pass goes to Geno Lewis. 108 yards on 14 carries for Joe Mixon.
Offense, number 71. 10-yard penalty. 1st down.
That wipes out a 21-yard gain.
And I think that's the first penalty for Oklahoma today.
I think you're right.
Bobby Evans, if we talked about the younger brother of Tay Evans. Where is it? That's that David Griffin, who's been a little bit of a thorn in Oklahoma's side on the pass rush. Just kind of gave him a pull, grabbed some cloth, and it was rightly called.
So 1st and 20 after the first penalty taken by the Sooners today. And Mayfield over through Jeffrey Mead.
That time he really rode the play fake that time a long ways. He really, what you call the ride, where he put the ball in the belly of Mixon and pulled it out late and then was able to get rid of it. One of the few errant throws today by Baker Mayfield. He got a good motion, man. He just snaps that ball when he throws it. He can throw it with touch, and he can lay it up, and then he can just drill it.
Mayfield now 12 of 15 But he's hit 200 yards already here in the first half. Still 4:51 to go in it. Mixing the option in the backfield, but Mayfield to throw on 2nd and 20. Mayfield tried to lob it in there, and Geno Lewis was covered by 2 defenders.
They are in attack mode. I mean, they're not looking at the scoreboard and looking at 35-0. They're working on this deep passing game, trying to get these receivers, you know, the timing down the field. We'll put this on the back shoulder of Geno Lewis, the transfer from Penn State. Graduate transfer.
92 catches, 1,200 yards in his Penn State career. Earned his degree in January in human development and family studies, so he was free to transfer. Mayfield going that direction again. And broken up and nearly intercepted. Jeffrey Mead was the intended target there.
Jeffrey Mead.
It's 3 deep shots in a row. I mean, just looking for the home run. Good protection on all 3 throws. I mean, it's such a big part of college football, that inside receiver that Mead was. Just kind of laying it up there and let him work off with all that real estate one-on-one. Needed just a little bit more distance on that throw.
Stephen Amaku, the one in coverage there. As Marcus Green goes back. 2nd punt of the day for Austin Seibert. Green calling for a fair catch as he backs up to the 10-yard line. And so another long field after a 40-yard punt for Garrett Smith and the Louisiana Monroe Warhawks.
Well, I think for the Warhawks, that last series again, I mean, the 2nd time they've made OU punt and really defended 3 deep balls pretty well. And you know, you're going to blitz Baker Mayfield a lot. That's your scheme, and if you're going to do that, you got to hold up one-on-one on the outside, and for those 3 throws in a row, they did. Garrett Smith gets another shot here.
We'll see if ULM can get something going. On the screen pass, a nice job to haul it in by Jalen Holly. Let's go down to the field. Christian Steckel standing by with OU President David Bourne.
All right, Brendan, thanks so much. We almost got hit right here. Good thing we could get out of the way.
A little more excitement than we bargained for.
Hey, talk about exciting. You guys welcome the largest freshman class in the history of the school. That's got to fire you up.
Well, it really is. It's really exciting. It's the largest freshman class. It's the highest ranked freshman class. It's the most diverse freshman class. Truly amazing, and it shows that OU is just still moving in the right direction in every way.
How have you tried to blend academics and athletics here at OU?
Well, I just say we've done it very successfully, because we're also celebrating this year that our student athletes, all of them combined, for 7 straight semesters have had more than a 3-point average. We had 80 student athletes last year with a 4-point average. So they're not only phenomenal players, phenomenal athletes, they're phenomenal students, and they really do so much for the University of Oklahoma.
Much to be proud of, like this historic venue we're in now. Talk about the renovations, all of this going down under your tenure.
Well, it's really exciting. I can remember the old cinder block days, the smaller stadium. We didn't have the upper deck. Now, of course, the end zone. I think they've done a phenomenal job with it. And so symbolically, I think it just shows the excellence of the state of Oklahoma. And, you know, great thing about it is all this was paid for with athletic revenues, donations to the athletic department, ticket sales, suite sales. None of it state money, none of it student money. It's really phenomenal that the people would step up and make this kind of effort to make these improvements to the stadium.
Lots of great things going on here at OU. We are so thankful to be here. Thanks for talking to us.
Well, thanks. Thank you very much. I'm glad to see us set the restart button for the season today, and it's really exciting to watch.
Brendan.
Thank you, Christian. Yeah, the reset button pressed firmly here as they force another punt. Already up 35-0 with still a couple minutes to go in the first half. And Mixon stumbling, couldn't get away, and down right at midfield.
He is something to watch. He just got so much energy and just movement here. I mean, he wants to take everything to the house. As a punt returner, you got to make that first guy miss, and he does. And if he probably just keeps his balance there, he might still be running, and he knows it.
52-yard punt and a 15-yard return, and he caught that punt with his fingers.
Yeah. You know, he had 181 total yards of offense last week. I mean, people want to talk about, you know, the performance of Oklahoma, but I tell you, Mixon, he got off to a good start.
Here's that guy, Samaje Perine, who gets maybe a yard. As Perine, now 9 carries. He has over 50 yards. Colton Moorhead made the tackle there. But, I mean, we've seen Mixon a lot today. We've seen Perine, and you know what he's capable of. You know, 430-plus yards in a game. And these two guys, with the threat of Mayfield going downfield, I mean, you can see why everybody thought they'd be in the college football playoff again this year. Here's Perine out of the backfield. Tried to make a man miss, but upended at the 20.
That's all Baker Mayfield. I mean, he saw every single option scanning the field. Watch this right now. I mean, he looks over the middle. He comes back to look for Perine's ad. Maybe somebody else is deeper. And then he stays with the throw. Perine uncovers. You know, when you have that drill where the quarterback is scrambling, one goes deep, one comes, you know, to the ball. Perine went deep and he found him. And I'd mentioned earlier, you know, in characterizing Baker Mayfield, his vision. And when he scrambles, his eyes always stay down the field. He's not reading the rush, and that's the benefit, to find the opening like he did with Perine.
Last week they said he tried a little too hard to make the big play. Look for those guys downfield. Instead of taking what he's there, he's taking Jarvis Baxter, and Baxter inside the 5.
He picked up a pretty good convoy that time. Drew Samia, the new right guard, was out front, just picking off Warhawks. A couple new, 2 fresh bodies here for Oklahoma as Riley sends in the play.
15 yards and a first and goal from the 5 for Mayfield and the Sooners, already up 35. Here closing in on the final minute of the half. Mayfield to the end zone, threw it behind Westbrook.
That was a good fake that time to Perine, though. He really got everybody to step up, and they were trying to throw it right behind. Watch this fake inside. They come off the corner to try to stop it. Really good ball fake, and just off the fingertips of Westbrook.
After that hot start for Mayfield, he is missed 4 of his last 6. And now on second and goal, do it the old-fashioned way. Perine, touchdown. Second trip to the end zone today for Samaje Perine.
He ran right in the back of his left tackle, Orlando Brown, and just pushed Orlando into everybody else. And the dominoes just started falling. Alvarez gets around there.
6'8", 340-pound Orlando Brown, ridden into the end zone by Samaje Perine. 42 unanswered now for the Crimson and Cream.
Well, the explosive plays have returned. You know, the big play to Baxter that time, the extension, the ability to extend a play from Mayfield to keep it alive. And do you have to do that 42 times right now? Because that might get tiring.
I think he's got a bag wrapped around him in case he pukes after 42 times.
Say, like, that would be a terrible experience.
They're only at 20.
Yeah. Somebody's got to get tired in there. Yeah. I'm sure Bobby Stoops doesn't mind. Let him get tired.
Well, the next guy's going to do it 49 times. Oklahoma now with 6 plays of 20-plus yards. And with that touchdown run, Perine has tied Greg Pruitt for 8th place in the Sooner list with his 38th career rushing touchdown.
I'm just, yeah. Well, Boomer Sooner, the faithful, got a lot to cheer about. Matt Viatar not so much, but he knows what these big games. He's gone to Missouri before, and Nebraska when he was at McNeese State, and, you know, beat Wake Forest twice, and back-to-back years. years, 2013, 2014.
Out to the 20 on the return by McCray.
You know, if I'm trying to think what Matt Kubik here, the offensive coordinator, would try to do. I mean, Oklahoma's defensive backs, they've played off. They've played 8 to 10 yards off. I mean, I just take what they give them right here and just see if I can just pick up a first down, like little 8, 10-yard stops, and just get the ball out quick and see if they'll give him those throws. As you look at Matt Kubik upstairs with the headset on. A lot of success at Stephen F. Austin the last couple of years.
Misfired, looking for Gillespie. Kubik had the Lumberjacks averaging 430 yards of total offense and almost 30 points a game last year. Comes over to join forces with that man, head coach Matt Viator.
Well, he had never coached with him before, but he knew of him, knew about him, knew that he had been at Monroe before. ULM back 15 years ago. And so his father was there. I mean, there was a lot of connection.
To see a coordinator get hired that has no prior connection to the head coach these days.
It is. It is being such a, you know, connect the dots type of business. And guys you've worked with and you get a new job. And, you know, I mean, so much success at McNeese. He said that if he'd beat Sam Houston State in a playoff game, he might not be here. Might still be at McNeese State.
That's right.
Said he 1 yard away late in that game against Sam Houston State to go deeper into the playoffs.
Had a perfect season during the regular season last year and just couldn't get through the playoff unscathed. First conversion on 3rd down today for ULM. And it'll move the chains with 19 seconds to go in the half. And he takes a timeout, does Matt Viator.
Well, I mean, anybody that saw the end of Oklahoma State today, you know, I mean, you got
Louisiana Monroe, 30-second timeout.
You got a first down here. You got 19 seconds. Why not take a couple of Hail Mary shots? Just see if you get a defensive pass interference or a big catch. Just take a shot, try to change the field position here.
Coming up on the FS1 College Football Halftime Show. Rob Stone, Robert Smith, Matt Leinart, Dave Wanstead giving you the Big 12 highlights in chat. I think they might mention that game you just talked about in Oklahoma State, plus highlights from all around college football today, which included next week's opponent for OU, Ohio State, a 48-3 win against Tulsa. Second half played in the driving rain.
Ohio State coming in here, a big game on the national schedule, playing almost the same offense that Houston is playing. Of course, Tom Herman left Ohio State, went to build that program at Houston. Has done a great job. Lost one game in 2 years so far down there.
Took down the number 3 team in the country.
Where's the throw I'm talking about?
Sooners to the sideline and out of bounds with 13 seconds left. Xavier Brown moved the chains again.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're giving him a little bit of a room there. Just work on a little quick throw as Micaiah Quick tries to stop it and slow it down on the outside. I thought, for the most part, Garrett Smith has been protected pretty well. Oklahoma only rushing 3 right here. Oh, he'll come off the outside.
Smith has to step up and try and scramble.
But nobody coming back to help him out.
And run in the wrong direction. He takes a hit right at the sideline and then goes sliding into the OU bench area.
Does he come out of there? He's pretty reckless.
Both guys get up after a hard 4 yards for Smith.
He gets up a little dinged up too, but oof. Jordan Evans, one lone returning linebacker from a year ago, got a good hit on him. Had to go low to get it, but he got it.
And so what could be the final play of the first half. There's the 8th tackle for Jordan Evans. 4 receivers, 3 at the top, and a timeout taken by Louisiana Monroe.
Maybe the timeout is just to get Garrett Smith the cobwebs out of that last hit.
Louisiana Monroe,
So I'm pretty sure the play is pretty simple. Everybody head down the field, right? You only got one try at this.
You can call it a couple different ways, but that's one of them. Yeah, you all just go. 4 verticals, one way you could call it.
They will take the timeout and talk about it here with 4 ticks on the clock. Just trying to get something positive before halftime.
Yeah, I mean, they're right there at midfield. Take a shot. I mean, it's just 4 seconds. Any kind of a big play, you're just trying to build on anything. Is Kyler Murray, #1.
The guy who is ineligible to play.
Yeah, of course, the transfer from Texas A&M. Father, great quarterback at Texas A&M. They're excited about getting him eligible and in the quarterback mix next year. Probably doing a lot of things that Baker Mayfield did 2 years ago, running the scout team and give him a good look. He'll have to play J.T. Barrett this week as they get ready for Ohio State.
You would have to imagine that Austin Kendall will be the quarterback under center when the Sooners take the field in the second half. He is a freshman and the only other scholarship quarterback available after Baker Mayfield when it comes to the options for Bob Stoops. But Viator has had his conference with Garrett Smith and the offense on the field, and they got 4 seconds to get one into the end zone.
See, the defensive backs of Oklahoma have backed up 15 yards off the ball. They'll give them, they want to take the underneath shot. They'll rally to the ball, make the tackle if they can complete it.
Garrett Smith under pressure. He got buried.
There it is.
They're calling it an incomplete pass, but Obo Okoronkwo makes his presence felt with the exclamation point on a dominant first half by the Sooners.
He's going to come from the right side of your screen, beat the right tackle this time, and he is their best pass rusher. He's gotten to the quarterback on 2 or 3 occasions here in that first half.
Sooners scored on their first 4 possessions and racked up a total of 459 yards of offense in the first half of play against Louisiana Monroe. That was exactly what Bob Stoops wanted to see out of his team in the opening half. Christian Steckel's on the field with Bob Stoops. Christian.
Coach, 459 yards of total offense. Baker Mayfield throws 3 first-half touchdowns. How would you assess his decision-making there?
He's been excellent. You know, he's thrown the ball. Well, actually, for Baker, even a couple overthrows is unlike him. But he'll, you know, it's early in the season, but he's starting to catch it a little bit.
Everybody loves his story. Nick Basquin scores a touchdown tonight. Your reaction to that?
Yeah, it's great. You know, the hometown guy, you know, here working hard, and everybody's excited for him.
Coach, good luck in the second half. Brendan.
Thank you, Christian. 21 points in the first quarter, 27 points in the second quarter. It adds up to a 48-0 lead for Baker Mayfield, for Samaje Perine, for Joe Mixon, and for the Sooners. Number 14 up big over ULM at halftime. Tonight's game is brought to you by Air Comfort Solutions. Let's check in with Christian Steckel down on the field. CT.
Well, guys, I got to tell you, Matt Viator was down but not defeated here after the first half. He told me, look, we have to be better on third downs, just 1 for 8. And he said, we've got to try and somehow get into a place where we can win some field position. He said, look, we just want to leave here with some confidence today. The number one thing is for our guys to leave here believing that we got a little bit better, that we could create some drives and some momentum. But overall, this is a team 42-0 who's going to have to pick it up and play harder in the second half. Guys?
Thanks, CT. Yeah, 1 for 8 on third downs, and it was the 8th one that they did convert. And they've got Georgia Southern next week, a week off, and then they've got to go on the road and play Auburn. So they need some confidence out of this game because they're going to have a tough road the rest of the way.
Well, that's a tough road. I mean, Georgia Southern, anybody that knows that program down there in Statesville, Georgia, they can run the football. They have the triple option effect, and that's never an easy assignment for anyone. And then to play Auburn the following week, I mean, all Matt Viator could do is kind of laugh about it and chuckle. You know, one at a time, I guess, is the old coach's philosophy, but hard not to think what his young kids and 9 new starters on defense are up against here over the next 3 weeks.
OU won the toss at the beginning of the game and elected to receive. And so Austin Seibert will kick it away to start half number 2. Here at Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. And this one is bobbled and dropped in the end zone. And Marcus McCray will just take it in. We'll bring it out to the 25.
Well, one of the things that all the coaches were excited about at Oklahoma was to see, just with the renovation of the stadium and the expanse of it, just what the noise level was going to be like. And I would say that I thought that really Garrett Smith handled the noise and the atmosphere well. I mean, that burned a lot of timeouts, and you didn't see a lot of, penalties from noise and things that can contribute to it. But as these stadiums get bigger and bigger around the country, this is about as impressive as you get. And I would say if you're down the field, Garrett Smith hadn't heard a whole lot of signals. In fact, they've been in silent count almost the entire first half.
Yeah, it was the south end zone on the ULM half of the field that they're on now. That was enclosed during the offseason, part of a $160 million renovation. As they hand the ball off to Ben Luckett to start half number 2. And with the enclosure of that, it was interesting. All of the OU players pointed to the game last season that they played at Neyland Stadium in Tennessee, talking about how loud it was that they couldn't hear the guy next to them. And they never really got that at home because there was so much sound that escaped out the corners. Well, now it's going to get awfully loud here. Bedlam will be exactly Bedlam.
Well, they would like some Bedlam next week when the Buckeyes come to town.
It'll be loud that next Saturday for sure, as this one is out across the 25 to the 26.5. Agel and Holly on the catch.
There's a guy that they're excited about. Capri Doucette came from Lackawanna Junior College in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and he plays the rover position, where you got to be kind of a Sam linebacker but a nickel back, and they just like his overall athletic ability. He got a chance to start in front of Will Johnson today, and that was a good tackle, and really closing on that little quick screen they had.
Northeast Football Conference Defensive Player of the Year last year at Lackawanna College. Eric Smith got hit, but he had a wide open R.J. Turner, and Turner will take it for a touchdown. A 74-yard play. Can't get much more open than R.J. Turner.
Bobby Stoops can't believe it. He can't believe that there's that kind of assignment breakdown. And Garrett Smith, who took a hit from Obo as he released that ball, you're going to see he takes a shot right there, but it doesn't matter. The breakdown had happened. You can see that Parrish Cobb was in the picture, but not really sure if it was his assignment or missed assignment. But that's something that they really wanted to shore up from a week ago, is to get better at that corner position. And that's a breakdown that will get talked about all week.
Extra point is good, and really the first negative play we have to talk about for the Oklahoma Sooners, and unfortunately for them, it comes very early here in the second half. Let's take another look.
Yeah, let's take a look. They got a trips formation here. Capri Doucette is up front, but nobody picked up the inside receiver of that trips. Wide bunch formation. There's the hit at the very end, but Garrett Smith, who played well in the first half, gets the first big play for the Warhawks in this game. And you talk about trying to build some confidence before they leave here. That's the type of play that will do it. That takes that sting of the 42-0 first half deficit out.
It's a 73-yard play. It's a 75-yard drive that took just 1 minute and 19 seconds because it took a while for R.J. Turner to run all the way down the field. Sophomore from Natchitoches, Louisiana. Played just 2 games last year before he suffered a season-ending injury. He's a guy with some NFL bloodlines as well. His uncle Randy played at ULM in '82. And his cousin Josh Lewis played in the NFL with the Atlanta Falcons. So now a 42-7 game. Not sure what happened there, but it'll cost them. They kicked out of bounds.
Well, I think Bobby Stoops is just irritated to no end. You go in the locker room at 42-0, and he's going to tell all the players, like, don't look at that scoreboard. We got to come out and we got to put 4 quarters together, and you give them the ball in the opening drive and they stick you with a big play because of a breakdown. There's nothing that's going to irritate that man who's been here for 18 years, more than that.
Garrett Smith on the training table right now after he took that hit on the touchdown pass from Matt Romar.
And here we go.
Austin Kendall, the true freshman, making his first career appearance to start the second half here to replace Baker Mayfield. Abdul Adams, another freshman, he's in the backfield and gets his first carry as well.
And when we talked to both Coach Stoops and Lincoln Riley yesterday about Austin Kendall, all they could really talk about was the development and the arm talent, the strength of his arm, and how he's really come on.
And there is a throw complete to Basquin, and Basquin made a man miss, but he had to step out of bounds to do it. Otherwise, he was off to the races.
Well, Kendall's from North Carolina. He transferred in January. January transfer coming out of high school. And there's that kind of that flick that we're talking about.
Lincoln Riley first to him as an elite thrower. That's his calling card. He's an elite thrower. And he'll hand the ball off again to Abdul Adams. And you want a little glimpse of the future here, perhaps at OU. You're getting a true freshman quarterback handing the football to a true freshman running back.
Abdul Adams, you mentioned the freshman out of Maryland.
7 yards on the play, brings up 2nd and 3.
Kendall back to throw. Austin Kendall just put it out of the reach of A.D. Miller.
A.D. Miller exploded for that ball, though. I mean, he really accelerated at the end to try to beat Backus on that play. Good play action fake. Just going to run a straight post. All he's got to do is kind of lay that ball up a little bit more and let A.D. Miller run underneath it. There's no other defender out there.
After Trevor Knight transferred to Texas A&M after last season, Cody Thomas left the program to focus on baseball. They get a transfer in Kyler Murray from Texas A&M. But ain't eligible to play this season because of the transfer rules. And so Austin Kendall is your lone quarterback outside of Baker Mayfield that's on scholarship this year for OU. They have a few: Connor McGinnis, Tanner Schaefer, Reese Clark, all on the roster, but none of them on scholarship.
Yeah, these reps are important. Everybody knows watching college football how hard it is to keep a quarterback upright for every single game, and you've got to get a backup ready, and the best way to do it is to get a meaningful game reps like this.
Kendall hands it to Adams. Adams trying to cut it back. Gets wrapped up at the ankles after a pickup of just a pair.
He's tackled by Ingram that time, bringing Adams down. And Samaje done for the evening. Looks on at kid Abdul Adams that they share a lot of time together in the running back room. I'm sure he wants to see him do well.
4 carries on 19 yards here to start the career of Abdul Adams. Austin Kendall with lots of time. And he finds him out of the backfield. Adams showing a little bit of hands.
Well, that was a great catch, but I'll tell you, P. Ryan likes it, but that was a great read by Austin Kendall. He's looking right over here the whole time. And he ends up coming off of that and coming back to the wheel route all the way to the other side. And that's not easy to do for any quarterback, much less a freshman.
Good for 16 yards and a first down. And Abdul Adams brings it to the 15. Marcus Hubbard made the tackle, a 2-yard gain. Austin Kendall, you mentioned him coming in January as a high schooler. Got to go through spring practice. That's a huge advantage for a kid coming into play as a true freshman. But Lincoln Riley's been really hard on him because he knows how important. You talked about keeping a quarterback upright, and Baker Mayfield had to miss some time last year. And look out, Kendall took a hit, got rid of the football. But it couldn't be hauled in by Jordan Smallwood.
He came off the backside. I don't know if Orlando Brown got beat on that play, if it was a blitz, but he came free, and Kendall never felt it. Going to come right off. Here it is, coming right off the edge, just a blitz. And we mentioned this is a blitzing team, and the closer you get to the goal line, these kind of teams, they come after you even more. And so that you've got to keep your eyes and awareness all the way to the snap of who might be coming.
Third and 8 for the 18-year-old quarterback. Flushed. Trying to channel his inner Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Long way to run for Kendall. And he'll just tuck out of bounds. He'll take the loss. Well, he kept the play alive long enough, but there were no options for him. Lost 7 yards on that play.
Well, Baker's like, I know what you mean. I've done that before a few times. Let's see, they come after him with a Sam linebacker blitz. Get out of my way, Orlando Brown. I'm on my bicycle here trying to find some time. And
at the end there, you just got to throw it away.
Yeah, just throw it away. And he's explaining to Lincoln Riley right now all the things that he saw, and then Lincoln's trying to tell him what you're supposed to see.
Austin Seibert just got the play off from 39. And it is good on his first field goal try of the day. The lead's now 45-7 for OU. Oklahoma adds to their lead with a field goal, but during that field goal, Colton Moorhead got a little shake it up, and he is now stretching out on the sidelines.
Well, here he's coming in the middle, going to get that hand extended, going to get some friendly fire as his teammate Caleb Tucker fell right on the back of him into the middle of the back, and that set off the pain.
And on the kickoff of the Sooners is Austin Seibert, number 43, deep to receive.
Massage from the trainer is going to help much. Yeah, a big old knot in the back of that thing tomorrow.
It was only a 43-yard drive. It took 4 minutes and ended in a field goal. But strangely enough, the 11 plays that it took them to get there was their longest drive, not only of today, but of the season, including in. Mixon had a nice break of 44 yards on one run. 8.5 yards a carry, not a bad day for Mixon, and 5.5 is not too shabby, or 5.8 for Samaje Perine. Garrett Smith connects here, and it is a first down. Ridden out of bounds near midfield, a 13-yard pickup.
Pretty good play that time. Got behind Capri Doucette, the Rover linebacker, on that little bootleg as Samaje Perine becomes a cheerleader for the Sooners now in the second half. His work is done for him, and he starts getting his body rested up for the Buckeyes next week.
Hand it off to Duke Carter. As Carter goes through, we're seeing Will Sunderland make the tackle, and a lot of the second stringers in on defense for the Sooners as well, as you might imagine.
Well, they got to get these guys some playing time. I mean, depth is going to be important. You play in the Big 12. There's some Sunday or Saturday afternoons you could be on the field for as many as 100 plays in this conference. You got to start developing some depth.
Don't have a lot of D linemen, so the starting defensive tackle Jordan Wade still in. Manuel Beal, though, makes the stop here on Duke Carter.
Manuel Beal is in both Capri Doucette. They were teammates together at Lackawanna Junior College. Is back in Jordan Everett's jersey. Captain of this defense, one of the two captains of defense.
Certainly has taken a leadership role this year. Preseason all Big 12. On the watch list for the Bednarik and the Butkus Awards. As Garrett Smith just got it away, he got hammered, but the pass is complete, and escaping for the touchdown is Osborne. 43 yards. And a couple of quick scores here to start the second half for ULM.
Well, you know, Coach Viator said at halftime, we got to get some confidence. And these kind of plays they're making, because Garrett Smith takes a shot from Capri Doucette. You don't see it in that picture. But there's a great catch there by Osborne. And then to finish, break the tackle of Houghton, and to finish it, the second touchdown throw of this quarter. 2 drives and 2 touchdowns. That's something that the Warhawks can get excited about and be talking about on the way home to Monroe, Louisiana tonight.
extra point, though, hits the upright, but a flag is down. Was no good, but we'll see if he gets another chance at it. Craig Ford doesn't miss very often when it comes to point afters. Set a ULM school record for having
Offside. Defense, number 16, lined up in the neutral zone. Half the distance to the goal. Retry.
So we'll get another chance, but a perfect 33 for 33 last season.
It's Mike Stoops upstairs, trying to keep himself controlled, trying to figure out what's happened these last two drives to his pass defense. You know his brother's not happy at all about any of it. Coach Mish, the linebacker coach there.
Louisiana Monroe has opted to accept the penalty but decline the yardage, which is allowed by rule. Retry from the 3-yard line.
Keep it a little more natural for the extra point. And it's normal spot for Craig Ford.
I tell you, that guy knows how to build a program.
He's at Nice. 17 years, 10 as the head coach.
Yeah.
Said it was just time to move on. Calculated decision to come here to ULM, trying to jumpstart this program. Who had a rough year last year. Smith has jumpstarted this team here in the second half. It's 45-14. Oklahoma up 45-14, but here in the third quarter, ULM outscored the Sooners 14-3, and Bob Stoops for the second straight week is wondering what happened to his team at halftime.
Yeah, you know, last week they went in down 19-17 to Houston, gave up a field goal right before the end of the first half, and then came out and really Houston took it to them in that third quarter. And so that's a trend that as a head coach, you look at 2 weeks in a row and you're like, you know, we've got to concentrate much better coming out of the tunnel to start the second half.
Both drives for ULM were 75 yards and ended in long touchdown passes. Pretty good return here for Daniel Brooks as he runs it back for 34 yards, and we check in once again with CT.
Well, Brendan, Lincoln Riley will be a head coach in college football one day, and told us yesterday point blank he looks forward to getting that chance. But the second-year Oklahoma offensive coordinator is taking the advice of his head coach and learning from experience. Bob Stoops told us that he was offered several jobs while an assistant at Florida under Steve Spurrier, but the old ball coach told him to be patient. Then one year, both Iowa and Oklahoma came over, his alma mater and a dream job. Well, the rest is history, and Stoops is making sure Riley is listening. So whether it's this offseason or next, the 33-year-old play caller will get his shot. And Baldy is very clear he won't jump at just any opportunity.
No. That's good advice.
Offense, number 73, 5-yard.
It's big. The O-line jumped.
Yeah, but it was it was just so awkward that way that play started. Is a couple backups. Quinn Mittemeyer in there at left tackle right now. They're going to take off here. Looks like Bobby Evans over at left tackle and Mittemeyer at left guard. As they kind of switch some guys around here to start this third quarter.
And it off to Daniel Brooks, who hurdles a pair of players and can't turn it upfield. Chase Day refused to let him by, but he got back to the line of scrimmage.
And, you know, I tell you, it's encouraging to see the Warhawks here. I mean, you would think you come in at Norman, down 42-0, you know, to start the third quarter, that you'd be hanging your heads and that kind of thing, but that's not the case. That's David Griffin that created the interference. Good game tackling on the outside. Chase Day, the middle linebacker.
Yeah, Daniel Brooks getting a series here in the backfield. He's a redshirt senior, and he is the father of the group of running backs, as Kendall is taken down and sacked. It was Caleb Tucker who got to him, a transfer from Houston, to pull him down.
Spent 2 years at Houston and played some, and then transferred when Tom Herman came in there, and here he is coming around the outside.
Caleb Houston was not a guy who transferred. He got beaten out for a position or because he wasn't getting enough playing time, but his mother diagnosed with cancer not once but the second time, and it was upon that that he decided to come home to Louisiana to be close to his mother. So he is a big-time player playing in the Sun Belt right now on the line for Matt Viator and the ULM Warhawks.
Yeah, and that was another good series, defensive series for the Warhawks. You could see the way that whatever Matt Viator said to him at halftime, they listened. That was good coverage. There was really no place for Austin Kendall to throw that ball on the rollout. That's what Viator was looking for here in that half. Can't do anything about that first half, but we sure can make a statement in the second half, and they are.
Obviously, the offense is a little bit different with Kendall, Brooks, and company in, but look at this return. A violent collision there as Marcus Green is taken down. And we've got an injured Sooner on the field, but he pops back up, and it's okay. It's a 52-yard punt and a 26-yard return. And ULM in business. Garrett Smith leading the charge. He's got 14 on the board here in the third quarter, and it's 45-14 OU. Well, Garrett Smith, the quarterback for ULM, has turned it on here in the second half. He has thrown some deep bombs, and he has racked up a ton of yards. He's at 222 now on the day. The majority of that coming here in the second half. And back with the football, this is Thomas Kofi. Up in the first half, ULM had 8 drives for 145 yards, and here in the second half they have had 2 drives totaling 150 yards.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, they're throwing the ball more. I mean, they've taken some deep shots and they've connected on it, but I've been impressed by Garrett Smith throwing the ball. Last week we saw him run it for 155 yards, and that helped them win. They don't want him carrying it that much, but he's not. These lights here in Norman aren't too big for him.
Another quick throw, and he puts it right in there for R.J. Turner.
That's a great throw. That's off play action. You stick your foot in the ground, you let it rip, and he put it right on the spot. And here's the Warhawks driving again. Watch this throw. Look at the eyes and the concentration. It's a good release. He's taken some big hits out here tonight and hadn't flinched and stood tall in the pocket. They're trying to build a program for 2-11 season. This is not a bad kid to build around.
First and 10 now from the 38. And that pass was right there, but dropped. Xavier Brown was the one who had it in his direction. But 5 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Brendan Burke, Brian Boldinger, Christian Steckel from San Diego.
It feels like it is beautiful. A nice breeze. What do you think? It's 66 degrees. Like, it's not supposed to be like this in Norman in middle of September.
It wasn't yesterday at this time. It was hot, it was humid, but a thunderstorm rolled through overnight, cooled it off. It was a very pleasant day into the evening, and now 66 degrees. People are wishing they had brought a light crimson colored jacket to wear here tonight. That one is complete. R.J. Turner again, and you mentioned the lights not being too bright for him here at Oklahoma last year, and as a redshirt freshman, Garrett Smith made his debut at Georgia on the road, was 23 of 29 for 206 yards and 2 touchdowns.
There you go. I mean, it's that type of a player where, you know, guys, they come into these atmospheres with these big programs and they just are not intimidated. It's still football to them. They're highly competitive. It's one of the reasons why you're seeing a lot of upsets and near upsets by smaller schools right now. Better quarterback play.
That one to Marcus Green goes nowhere.
That's a good play by Austin. Guy that wants to started last week against Houston, coming off the bench here today. Real gritty player, not the biggest, but makes up for it with aggressive play. Nobody will ever say that he's not shy. He'll tackle on the outside. He's got to work on his coverage a little bit better, make it a little stickier.
Lost 2 yards on that tackle last week. He was beat a bunch of times, had 2 huge pass interference calls on third downs as well. And so he started on the bench today. And that pass is incomplete. R.J. Turner got a hand on it, as Turner has 7 catches for 135 yards today.
Emmanuel Beal that time from his safety, from his inside linebacker position, came and put pressure on Garrett Smith, forced that errant throw. We're seeing a lot of these young linebackers trying to fill that void left by 3 that left from the NFL. Beal getting his shot.
3rd and 12. They are 2 of 9 on third down. but have picked up their last two. One at the end of the first half, and their only try here in half number 2. Quick throw. He needs a block and cannot get away.
Yep.
Demarius Gillespie held on to by another true freshman in the lineup right now, Caleb Kelly.
Caleb Kelly was one of the most highly recruited players out of the state of California. Oklahoma felt really lucky to get him. It's just one of those jet screens. They're trying to pick up some offensive linemen downfield. Devin Jackson missed a block, and Caleb Kelly is a tough guy to block. He's like a cat out there with his instincts. His field goal team comes on.
First field goal try today for Craig Ford will be from 43. And he had the leg. It is good. Well, they didn't get in the end zone, but they have gotten points on all of their drives here in the third quarter. 45-17, 3 minutes to go. Count them 5 Heisman Trophy winners for Oklahoma. Most recently, Sam Bradford. A couple there you see under Bob Stoops has the history in this program. Boy.
And they may have another candidate this year. Baker Mayfield finished 4th just a year ago. Certainly going to be a guy that you can't can out with his playmaking ability and such a bright future and such a great talent. I'm sure he's not thinking about any of that right now. I always think that, you know, Heisman Trophy winners, they got to play on great teams as well. That remains to be seen early in the season.
Daniel Brooks on the return. Gets out across the 25 to the 27. A walk-on at Texas Tech. Started week 1 as a true freshman walk-on at Texas Tech. Had himself a great season. Was the Big 12 Offensive Freshman of the Year. But lost his job and ultimately transfers. Was originally lost an entire year of eligibility. The NCAA gave it back. He still had to sit out the 2014 season. Last year comes out, has an incredible year, leads his team all the way into the college football playoff.
You go all the way back to Lake Travis High School in Austin, Texas. I mean, a storybook high school career. 16-0 his junior year, 25-2 as a starter right there. And yet, you know, to get to the Big 12 level, had to walk on for Cliff Kingsbury at Texas Tech.
Quarterback carousel that has ensued around the Big 12 involving Oklahoma and Texas Tech and Texas A&M. Everybody looking for a job.
TCU. Yeah, I mean, these quarterbacks are on the move. If they're getting beat out, they don't get the opportunity that they want.
Austin Kendall can't get away, and he put it on the ground. They haven't made a rolling yet. Fumble. Recovered by ULM.
First down, Louisiana, Monroe.
See, that's Austin Kendall right there. Congratulations to the Warhawks for getting their first takeaway. But that's Kendall just trying to emulate Baker Mayfield, who he isn't, and trying to do something that Baker would do. And this move right here, you just got to get rid of that ball.
We've seen a lot of points put up today, but that's the first turnover of the game.
Shaquille Warren was step for step with them, gets it down. That ball's
out.
Yeah, it looks like it's out. They may review it, but
beginning possession from the 28-yard line.
So it gives the Warhawks the football on the OU 28. Austin Kendall 3 for 6 for 35 yards and has now put it on the ground. Lost.
Remember just last week what Coach Stoops told us about Baker Mayfield putting it on the ground against Houston last week, and that thing is a bar of gold, and he just got protected better.
High snap, nice job by Garrett Smith. Put in the hands of Duke Carter.
No, it's just one thing. You just have to kind of know when the play is over, and it's experience. You got to learn from it, and you got to hope that Austin Kendall doesn't make that mistake again. I'm sure that man's patience was tested and doesn't want to be tested again when it comes to taking care of the football.
On 2nd and 9. Smith threw it right to his man, Jalen Holley, normally short-handed. And as he stopped, he had the ball in him.
I think you're going to see Amani Bledsoe dropping off 72 here in coverage. And then that play. You talk about athletic ability right there.
6'5", 270.
Wow. Bump that play to his resume reel. Played it perfectly because he played it blind and he got his hand out there to defend the ball.
Grew up in Lawrence, Kansas.
Yeah.
Was the top player out of Kansas. You can kind of see why. Here's Garrett Smith on third down. And well, the OU defense has rallied after that turnover. Matt Romar stops him and will most likely limit this to a field goal try.
Well, that series was really highlighted by Amani Bledsoe, but here it is. Just looks like just a quarterback draw all the way. And that's a great play by Romar.
I said most likely a field goal try.
They got nothing to lose here.
They go for it on fourth down for the second time tonight. First time didn't work out so well for them. They need 10. Oh, boy. Instead, it's a sack. Obo Okoronkwo. He had a sack last week, and he gets to the quarterback again. And a loss of 9 on the play for Garrett Smith.
Well, he's their best pass rusher. Here he is just coming in inside. Beat Baltazar clean. Baltazar thought that he was getting a slide from his left guard, Sutton. Sutton never came with him. So Obo will take the sack and get the ball back to his offense as everybody celebrates. There was a breakdown of protection up front.
Obo Okoronkwo managed to put on 40 pounds since his high school days without losing a step. And that's how you become a pretty dominant pass rusher.
You know, I gained 40 pounds when I was at college too, but I lost steps.
Yeah.
I went from tight end to tight end offensive guard. But I didn't, you know, he has more athletic ability in his, little pinky than I have in the whole body.
Abdul Adams.
That's good defense by on the outside by Caleb Tucker. What you call setting the edge, and didn't allow Adams to bounce it outside.
3-yard loss on the play.
And you just got to, go back to what really Coach Viatar wants. He wants that stunting, aggressive, blitzing defense. And here in the second half, they've done an outstanding job of doing it.
So Oklahoma now facing 3rd and 8. See what Austin Kendall can do. An obvious passing down. Kendall fires it into double coverage, but got it through.
That's good coverage, though.
Shy of the sticks.
Yeah.
And the last play
This is the end
of the 3rd quarter.
Timeout on the field.
Nice job to get it in there, but Amaku wouldn't let it go for a first down. Samaje Perine spectating here in the second half. Baker Mayfield watching his team up 45-17. Oklahoma Sooner football on Fox Sports is brought to you by Riverwind Resort, the place to be. By Patriot Ford, located on I-35 at exit 95 in Purcell. And by One University, store and technology playground. Lots of All-Americans here at Oklahoma. Leroy Selman, we saw Keith Jackson, Billy Sims, a Heisman Trophy winner. And we are headed to the 4th quarter here in Norman, where OU has a 45-17 lead. It was a much more comfortable lead at halftime as OU has to punt it away here to start the 4th quarter. And ULM will let it bounce. And this one will settle down about the 12-yard line. Oklahoma's offense with Baker Mayfield in went for 459 yards in the first half. Switched to Austin Kendall for the 3rd quarter. Only got 45 yards and a field goal out of that. Meanwhile, ULM went for 172 yards in the 3rd quarter alone.
Now, no, it's hard. It's hard. You go to the locker room at halftime, you're up 42-0, and you kind of, all right, Baker, you go put the visor on, and Samaje, you take the half off and get rested for next week, and guys kind of relax, and that's what they did. And it drives coaches nuts, because at some point they're going to need Austin Kendall. They're going to need some of these, Abdul, and they're going to need some of these guys, and they got to get seasoned and toughened.
Carter brings it across the 15 for Jordan Evans. I mean, this is valuable time for Austin Kendall, a true freshman. That amount of time, what you're getting in the second half for Austin Kendall, that's the reason you schedule these games.
Exactly. No, you do that because you understand the talent difference. And look, Matt Viatar is trying to build a program at Monroe. Bobby Stoops has built his. It's set. But a lot of it is player development. And, you know, you need these games together. The only way you get better is by playing.
Aaron Smith, the quarterback, on the run there.
You can see as you take a look here at Austin Kendall talking with one of the walk-on quarterbacks, McGinnis, there, but you can see the confidence growing in ULM here, out there on the field. And that guy has been a big spark plug for the whole thing, like he was a week ago.
Third and 1. It'll be close.
Yep.
Duke Carter.
So he's short. The ball, we got bent sideways, and the ball never got extended.
About a yard short, judging by that spot.
That's not just that wasn't a good run. There was a hole there. They had some softness in the middle. He's got to put his head down and go get that yard. We'll take a look at that in the film session tomorrow.
We have seen a lot of Duke Carter. They give him 7 yards, and it will be a punt. We've seen a lot of Duke Carter today in the run game for ULM. Of course, they're missing their starting running back, Tyler Kane, who is still waiting on the official stamp from the NCAA on his 6th year of eligibility. But Ben Luckett, who rushed for 110 yards last week, we have not seen much of. Duke Carter wasn't even listed on the depth chart, didn't take a snap on the field last week, and he's been the featured back here today.
Yeah.
39-yard punt will set up Oklahoma at their own 40-yard line when we come back to Norman. Back here in Norman, let's take a look at the Air Comfort Solutions game summary. Garrett Smith putting up Baker Mayfield type numbers here today, although Mayfield hasn't played in the second half. And it is 45-17 as UL Monroe 17-3 outscoring Oklahoma there in the third quarter.
Yeah, the Warhawks, they dominated that third quarter. And there's no quitting that team, a lot of fight. I want to go back with some pride as we look on here to Oklahoma sideline, see if this offense can get going here.
Abdul Adams pushing his way forward for a drive that starts at the 40-yard line after a punt. And he gets 3. Chase Day on the tackle for Louisiana Monroe, redshirt freshman. Though many redshirt freshmen, as sometimes when a new head coach comes in, you have to kind of clean house. Well, the house was already cleaned when Matt Viator took over.
And even if there was a lot of seniors left over, they weren't good. It wasn't a good team, so chances are they didn't have a lot of good players left.
Austin Kendall down the field, and that has completed the sideline to Jordan Smallwood.
Well, Jordan Smallwood, he's had the injury bug, with the Liz Frank and the ACL, but that's a good throw and catch this time. They lay out for it.
17 yards. And Kendall will hand it here as Abdul Adams gets shoved down from behind on a 3-yard gain. And just shy of the 35-yard line. Austin Kendall, the first true freshman to play for Oklahoma since Keith Nickel in 2007 at that quarterback position. Making a man miss. And this one down inside the 20. Michael Jones for 18 yards.
First time that they've really gotten a rhythm here with Austin Kendall at offense. A couple of young guys stepping up.
Right back to Abdul Adams. Mixon went for 117 yards. Pirine for 58 in the first half. Abdul Adams now over 30 yards on his own.
Big Jalen Beasley in there at nose tackle, looking for some oxygen.
Officials timeout for injury.
There's nobody down on the field.
Well, it might have been just Jalen Beasley right there. Beasley just trying to get a little bit of a rest. They said they were going to play everybody they had on defense just to rotate them through, trying to keep them fresh. Got a little break with the weather here tonight.
Matt Viator says he likes to use these early games for conditioning.
Yeah.
He likes to use a lot of different players. Kendall on the rollout. And that one is hauled in. Michael Jones for 8 yards.
Just a freshman. He's a Louisiana kid. Talk about speed from Patterson, Louisiana. 2 catches on this drive.
First and goal, Sooners.
Inside the 5 is Abdul Adams.
Yeah, for the first time in the second half, it looks like ULM they look tired. You can see those hands on the hips like that. That's always one of the telltale signs that you're just getting fatigued here in this fourth quarter. A lot of guys playing a lot of minutes, like Cortez Cisco right there.
Second and goal from the 2. And Abdul Adams hit in the backfield. Breaking through that time, Shaquille Warren dropped him for a yard.
Well, that's what this defense is predicated upon. Just those slashing and blitzing calls right there. Warren just coming right in the middle, but also 3 Warhawks help him out there to make that tackle for a loss. In the great city of Tyler, Texas.
Played 10 games last year as a redshirt freshman. Austin Kendall playing in his first game of his collegiate career. Third and goal from the 3. And I believe a timeout taken by Oklahoma prior to the snap.
First charge, timeout. Oklahoma, timeout on the field.
Lincoln Riley wants to make sure this play goes the way he wants it. 3rd and 3 when we come back. Oklahoma Sooner football on Fox Sports is brought to you by Ford. The best deals are happening now only at your Oklahoma Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Oklahoma. By OU Medicine, keeping Oklahoma alive and well. And by Pizza Hut, $10 any carry-out pizza. Call Pizza Hut for details. Sam Bradford, Heisman Trophy winner. We saw the boss.
Yeah. One of the most colorful and historical players in all of college football.
National champion. 3rd and goal from the 3, and lofted into the end zone for A.D. Miller. The first touchdown pass in the career of Austin Kendall.
Great reaction by Mayfield too, and that's just a big moment. And that's, you love to see when the starter celebrates like that, how important it is for the whole position, really the whole team. Get his career started. Nice touch on the fade route. They told us how much they really like A.D. Miller this week. Wow. You can't fake that kind of promotion. He's more excited about Austin Kendall throwing a touchdown than himself throwing one.
The only time we've seen him that excited today is when he was excited for Nick Basquin. It had nothing to do with him throwing it.
Yeah.
He just liked that his buddy Nick Basquin got his first career touchdown.
Yeah, Bobby Stu said, that guy just is excited every day. He just brings that energy, and you can feel it up here. I mean, he's happy to see everybody have success like that. Some guys just aren't emotional, and that's fine, but he is.
52-17 now as we take a look at tonight's second half scoring drive presented by Oklahoma Ford dealers. 9 plays, 60 yards, 3 minutes and 34 seconds. They called the timeout to set up the play, and it worked perfectly to A.D. Miller, the sophomore from Dallas, Texas. But there you see the true freshman from Waxhaw, North Carolina.
Yeah.
And there you see the redshirt junior from Lake Travis, Texas, and a big old hug for Austin Kendall.
Yeah.
He'll remember that one. And look at Lincoln Riley in the background with a big smile on his face watching those two come together.
You know, just talking to Lincoln yesterday, they went 37 minutes last Saturday at Houston without scoring. You know, from the end of midway through the second quarter all the way to the very end of the game. He'd never had a drought like that. And it's good to see, you know, the backups and those kind of guys have some success here. They become the future of this whole program.
Lincoln Riley, 2015 Broyles Award winner, is the nation's top assistant coach. As Marcus McCray will take a knee. And, you know, CT mentioned earlier, and we sat down and talked with Lincoln Riley yesterday. He sounds like a head coach, and he sounds a lot older and a lot more mature than his age would indicate. But he sounds like a guy who's been around the block and a guy who knows how to handle a room. And you can imagine that at some point he's going to get an opportunity not only to be a head coach, most likely he's going to have his pick of where he wants to go. We talked about that. And he's going to wind up with a big-time program with a big-time opportunity.
Well, he's been around a lot of good coaches. I mean, Mike Leach at Texas Tech, you know, helped him. And Ruffin McNeil was a different type of guy at East Carolina. And certainly 2 years here with Bobby Stoops and the history of this program. You learn pretty quickly it's not all about you.
Garrett Smith now out of the game. And Will Collins, he's in at quarterback for ULM here. Just over 9 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And we talked about all the reasons you want Austin Kendall to get some work. Well, Will Collins, a redshirt freshman, it's his first opportunity as well.
Now all these freshmen is playing quarterback. You know, and I tell you, what a performance I thought by Garrett Smith, just gutty and hung in there and got him to 3 scores in the third quarter.
They'll throw this one away.
You know, one thing about college football is there's such a carousel of quarterbacks moving now. Bobby Stoops said he was very much in favor of the, you know, the graduate rule where you graduate, you can transfer and get a year. Russell Wilson, of course, did that from North Carolina State to Wisconsin, and there's so much of that. Watching Kenny Hill, you know, at TCU right now, transfer from Texas A&M, and Trevor Knight, of course, leaving here and going to Texas A&M. So much of that going on right now in college football, especially in the Big 12.
Will Collins completed 76% of his passes as a high school senior, but he started this opportunity in his college career by throwing it away. And this time he is sacked and he lost the ball. OU recovers at the 20-yard line. Neville Gallimore, another big play as he knocked it free.
Neville Gallimore is taking advantage of his time today with guys that weren't active and injuries, and all he's done is just hustle. There he is. And he got right on the throwing hand of Will Collins. You see his right hand going right for the ball here. Secured the tackle with his left hand and then stripped it with his right hand. I mean, that's textbook strip sack right there by Neville Gallimore. And you don't just do that. You do it because you've practiced and you've worked on it. Coach Thibodeau, Calvin Thibodeau, a former player here, now the new defensive line coach, will love showing that one on tape tomorrow.
Ricky DeBerry made the recovery on that fumble. As Abdul Adams fighting for yardage as the Warhawks fight to take the ball out of his hand. But he secures it and gets a few yards now down inside the 20. 52-17 Oklahoma as they try and add to it here. On the screen, Michael Jones. First down right around the 10-yard line.
Michael Jones has shown some a little bit here tonight. A couple catches and good burst here on the outside. That's a play where you don't want to hesitate. You get a block and put that left foot in the ground and head north as quickly as you can.
Austin Kendall starting to get a little confidence. 8 of 11. Now 9 of 12 for 93 yards and a touchdown.
That's a great play.
Set him up with those short passes, and Michael Jones has become his #1 option here.
Yeah, but you know, the thing about that throw was he put it right on a tee for Michael Jones. I mean, he wasn't behind him in front. Watch the location of this ball. This is just accuracy. And you say, well, that's what a quarterback's supposed to do. But a lot of guys can't put it right there so that he can make that first guy miss, pull it in.
Michael Jones now has more catches in this game than any OU receiver. D.D. Westbrook had 4.
Wow. They get him noticed and talked about.
Jones now with 6. Austin Kendall takes a hit, makes the throw. Jeffrey Mead for the touchdown. Second career touchdown for the junior Jeffrey Mead.
Starting to see some of the arm talent that the coaching staff is talking about with Austin Kendall. He's like, I can get used to this now. Watch this play action fake here. He's going to take a shot. He had to just buy just a little bit of a tick of a second, step into his left to avoid the rush. Be able to make that throw and cut it loose.
His second touchdown pass of the day puts Austin Kendall over 100 yards, 103 to be specific. And now OU a point shy of 60. Baker Mayfield threw his fair share in the first half, and now Austin Kendall has a pair here in the fourth quarter. 59-17. 7:01 to go. OG&E brings you the play of the game and a little trickery. Put it in the hands of Jarvis Baxter. 40 yards with a touchdown back early, as this game's all about Oklahoma.
One of the many plays by some of the young receivers that are trying to make a name for themselves and erase any doubt that this can be a special group.
It's kind of a fun way to look at the stat sheet, though, but on that play, Jarvis Baxter gets the 40 yards, but he doesn't get a carry. So he has 40 rushing yards on 0 carries.
Yeah.
Where Joe Mixon actually gets a carry. He gets the credit. Yeah. So Mixon's numbers are even better than we've been reporting, because really he only carried the ball 13 times and racked up 117 yards. Another return on Marcus McCray, who has been busy back there returning kicks here tonight. And so Louisiana Monroe switched quarterbacks on their last possession after a pretty solid game by Garrett Smith, put in the hands of Will Collins. Collins fumbled the football promptly, but he will get another chance here.
Can't say enough about just the competitive fire of that man Garrett Smith 2 weeks in a row and trying to build this program back up again. I think they've got the right guy to do it with.
You know, last week he counted for 358 yards of total offense. And when they asked head coach Matt Viator after the game, he said, hey, he made a couple of mistakes, but that was his first game in our system, and I think he can only get better. And I think if you're looking for him to progress what he did here today in a hostile environment against a big-time program, you have to be happy in the direction that Garrett Smith is trending. And keep in mind, he's just a redshirt sophomore. Pass is complete. Will Collins threaded the needle to Jared Maps. And it's Maps' first catch of the day, the 10th different receiver.
He just cuts this ball loose here. That's how you throw a ball. Just cock it and throw it. Load it up and get it out.
My apologies, it was Brian Williams, but the point remains the same.
Yeah.
Another receiver. Checking in for ULM.
We mentioned their schedule. It's a daunting schedule with Georgia Southern. They're going to need, some plays in the air against a team like that really prides itself in time of possession and controlling the line of scrimmage of the ball. But, when the Warhawks make this trip, this is a business trip for this type of a program. I mean, they got a big check here coming into this big stadium, and it's a long ride, and sometimes you kind of get run into a buzzsaw the way Oklahoma can do that to you. But you got to keep your head up. You got to look at the third quarter that they had. They got a tough conference, trying to rebuild this program, and I think there's just a lot of really good things you can take out of this, aside from the fact that the athletic department really gets bolstered after a game like this.
And they've got to go to Auburn too in a couple of weeks, which will help their athletic department again. And There's the carry there for Thomas Kofi, sophomore from Hampton, Virginia. This is such an incredible building with so much history and the millions of dollars of renovations that they've put on, and the enormous video board that they have hung here at Oklahoma. You can see the screen from all of Norman.
But you know, the only way that you make these renovations, this is the 7th renovation here, is if you have success and sustained success. And it's just happened from Bud Wilkinson to Barry Switzer to Bobby Stoops.
Will Collins steps out of bounds right around the 45.
7 national championships. He's not going to rest easy until he gets a 2nd national championship.
Bob Stoops, 179 career wins. You see, the only school with 4 head coaches with 100+ career wins.
Wow. No, I mean, that's the...
And your name has to start with B.
It does, huh? Barry still makes his home here in Norman, and just a great character, great man.
Fair caught at the 11-yard line. That's where Oklahoma will take over with 3 minutes and 47 seconds to go. A 36-yard punt, 59-17. Tonight's player of the game is brought to you by Mercy Health and Baker Mayfield. 244 yards and 3 touchdowns without playing a snap in the second half.
He's a special player. I really enjoyed watching him this week, getting ready for the game, watching him out here. You know, just the tenacity, the way that he approaches a game, just the pure love and joy that he has. Seeing other people have success. I mean, he's special now. I know he was 4th in the voting last year for the Heisman Trophy, and I think he's poised to have another great season.
Abdul Adams taken down at the 35-yard line. David Griffith finally stopped him, but 24 more yards to add to the total for Abdul Adams.
His job staying in bounds too as the clock starts ticking again once they reset the chains and run some of this clock.
65 yards now on the day for Abdul Adams on his 14th carry. As Austin Kendall getting to play the entire second half here today. True freshman. And he gives the football to Abdul Adams again. Here's our tail of the tape for next weekend's matchup. National championships on the table next week.
Well, one of the other top 5 most storied programs in our country. Obviously, what Urban Meyer has done has been phenomenal, winning championships at Florida and Ohio State, and what he did at Utah, and, you know, Bowling Green, wherever he's been, he's won. It's going to be some matchup, really.
Hey, look at all the numbers. How are we supposed to, across the field or Boomer Sooner? Which way does it go?
Yeah. Well, the Buckeye State feels the same way about their program, the history and the success that they've had.
It may not be an elimination game for Ohio State when it comes to the postseason, but it is certainly an elimination game for the Sooners next week because of the loss last week to Houston.
No question. And you know, Bobby Stoops knew that, and Oklahoma knew that, scheduling the way that they did. It's the toughest schedule of any team in the country to start the year. Not to mention what's to follow after Ohio State starting the conference play. It's about as tough as they've ever had.
3rd and 3 for Austin Kendall from the 42. Quick throw. And got it in there. There's Nick Basquin again.
Because, I mean, this is what it is. I mean, it's going to be tough to be in consideration for any kind of playoff with 2 losses. But if you can beat them, you jump right back in, and all of a sudden that Houston loss doesn't look so big anymore.
But Ohio State, TCU, Texas.
Yeah, look at that.
The next 3 weeks.
Looking at Texas on Monday night and how they played against Notre Dame, and starting a freshman quarterback themselves and rotating in another one, and looked like a different team for Charlie Strong.
At the number 11 ranking in the AP poll. After not being in the top 25 to start, a flag comes in on the run by Abdul Adams. But the Big 12, Baldy, we say it's wide open. It is wide open.
It really is. TCU in a dogfight right now
Personal
with
foul.
Arkansas.
Shot block, offense, numbers 64 and 70. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Oklahoma lost last week and kind of showed that they're human, at least a little bit, in their loss to Texas. See the chop block.
Yeah, on the backside in the middle of the line there. Yeah, but I think if Oklahoma could have had a kind of a warm-up game before Houston, that I think they'd feel a lot better and getting some of just the excitement out and just a little more polish in and kind of recognize what some people can and cannot do, what they're capable of. You know, they'd mentioned that they're going to see much of the same offense from Ohio State that they saw at Houston. Whether that gives them any kind of an advantage as they prepare for this week, you can bet that the coaches have been sneaking some views at Ohio State and what they're doing and who they're doing with. They had 14 players drafted into the NFL last spring.
And this should do it. As they hand the ball off to Abdul Adams. And he's having himself a good day, so why not finish it on a positive note? Takes it out to the 50-yard line. And the dominant performance by Oklahoma finishes off with 90 yards in the bank for Abdul Adams. 59-17 the final over Louisiana Monroe here in the debut of the surrounded stadium. Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. Bob Stoops has won 11 straight home openers, and Bob Stoops has to be happy with his team's performance, aside from a little hiccup there in the third quarter.
Yeah, he's not going to let that go either. I mean, they did not perform well coming out of the tunnel, but other than that, I mean, their starters, Samaje Perine, Joe Mixon, Baker Mayfield, you know, they came up big here tonight. That man is special. I think this offense is just going to get better and better as the weeks goes on. You'll have to see that with him and Garrett Smith talking to each other.
Christian Steckles down on the field with Bob Stoops. Christian?
All right, Brendan, thanks, Coach. This time of year, it's all about improving week to week. What was your team's biggest growth tonight?
Yeah, as much as anything, I wanted to see us play like we're capable of overall with eliminating foolish penalties and, taking care of the football. That was a big issue, both those things a week ago. And, for the most part, we did that.
Baker played really well, but you're only as good as your depth going forward. What did you learn you had tonight in Austin Kendall?
Loved him. I thought he threw the ball wonderfully. I mean, it just slips out of his hands. He looked great. I thought his first time out there. Loved what I saw. Decisive with his throws and threw a great ball.
You guys aren't afraid to take on a challenge. What can we expect next week when Ohio State shows up?
Well, they're an excellent team, no doubt. So we'll definitely need to improve here this week and be at our best to have a chance.
Coach, good win. Thanks.
All right. Thank you.
And Baker Mayfield's going to join us here, guys, as he comes on in. Baker, great game tonight. Just 30 minutes of work. What was your biggest, if you will, growth or improvement from week 1 to week 2?
Just being decisive, taking my shots and knowing where I'm going to go with the ball pre-snap, and then kind of seeing what they're going to do and just going through my reads and trusting the system. Good game, brother. And just knowing what I'm going to do and going out there and executing it.
Talk about your reaction here when Austin Kendall scored, man. I mean, you're only as good as your depth and making sure these young guys come along with you. Tell me about that reaction.
It's like a proud father moment for me. Just a young guy, true freshman, obviously, so it's been fun watching him grow up and learn the system. But he gets out here and gets the nerves out and finally throws first touchdown. He got another one, but it's exciting for him. I remember my first touchdown. It's a big moment, so I hope he remembers it.
All right, real fast, be honest with you now. How much game tape on Ohio State did you watch this past week?
0. Taking it one game at a time, and I'll start tomorrow.
What can we expect? And we love watching you play in the big games and in the big moment. What can we expect when Ohio State shows up?
Just going to come up and try and do the same thing I did tonight. Just go out and execute and get the ball in my players' hands and let them go to work.
All right, good week, too.
Appreciate it.
Brendan, back to you.
Thank you, CT. Mayfield 14 of 20 for 244 yards, 3 touchdowns. Austin Kendall 12 of 15, 108 yards, and a pair of touchdowns as Oklahoma rolls 59-17 over ULM. As that'll do it here from Norman. 59-17 the final score. Be sure to tune into Fox next Saturday as these same Oklahoma Sooners play host to the Ohio State Buckeyes. That game will kick off at 7:30 Eastern. For Brian Balding and Christian Steckel, this is Brendan Burke. Thank you for watching. This has been a presentation of Fox College Football.